played a fucking.
Do not adjust your radio dial. You are tuned in to the.
Interesting, Kate. It looks like everybody else dropped out in the middle of the intro.
Everybody dies, I guess.
Yeah.
You
Well,
didn't think Kate was the only one that could dress up for Halloween?
Matt, you disconnected everything and we dropped all the audio dropped out. Like we were just sitting here quiet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll fix it in post.
Fuck that.
I'm a little concerned that Ray is sitting very close to me.
I mean,
I prefer
technically
Ray.
not. Really? What are we doing?
Just letting it breathe for a minute. It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. It's the Mark Order podcast. We're a shit show to start this one. Now that the four horsemen of the Mark Order apocalypse are back in the same room, sort of, things are getting wild. We've got Millionaire Matt back with us. We've got Cruiserweight, although Kate, I think it should be Cruiserweight, WAIT, Kate. Rate the Great, apparently.
Hey, girl.
And, me Aunt Money.
I should just be Cruiser Kate and not Cruiser. There we go.
Well, it doesn't. Whatever. I need to do this before we get started, just so everybody knows.
Oh, would you lose a bet?
No,
Joe
so
Evans bought him
like
that
I've
shirt.
said, yeah, like I said, Matt, if anybody buys me something, I'll wear it here on the show, even though you can't really see it. I need a different camera. But Joe Evans, Asian Joe, was nice enough to send me 2 T-shirts from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Wow.
One of them is this Fuego del Sol shirt.
Because he loves it.
I think it's printed slightly off center, but it's okay. I appreciate a free shirt. And he also sent me another shirt that I'm not wearing tonight in protest.
Obviously.
But we'll get it on eventually.
He definitely sent you a Sheeta t-shirt, didn't he?
Yes.
My man, Joe Evans, a man after my own heart. That's what you do.
Hey guys, I just want to say to Kevin, go fuck yourself, okay? I am not Bruce Valanche.
Who's Bruce Valanche?
The guy that looks like a Muppet who was on Hollywood Squares.
Kind of looks like I do right now.
Oh, I'm gonna Google Bruce Valanche right now.
Yeah.
Also, if you're
it doesn't recognize my face.
Also, just so we know that I am aiming to replace Kate, I literally eliminated her from this picture using paint. Oh. Just a white spot.
Yeah, I mean, Kate, Joe Evans says there's some single white female vibes going on. You might be in danger, and he might be right.
Well, Kevin's spot on. You do look like Bruce Valanche. That's creepy as shit.
You kind of do, yeah. I'm alarmed by the accuracy of the impression of Rate dancing and immediately fiddling with your fucking bangs. Unfreaking canny.
Oh, problem is, the bangs, I don't really have bangs. They're just long hair. So when I go to fiddle, it comes right in the face.
Kind of my problem, bro. They're too
That's
long.
what she said.
Oh.
I don't know if I can do
man.
this mask on.
No.
Rate doesn't do a whole show, so Rate will at some point let Ryan back in.
Wow. That's very big of her.
Though he's going to probably stay at
was-
this location.
Well, that's a good call. I was actually surprised at the costuming going on. I didn't get the memo.
Me either, bro.
I also appreciate the mask, Matt. That's a good looking mask.
And I got this pretty cool Evil Uno t-shirt from my Pro Wrestling Tees crate. So I said, oh, I'm going to wear this Wednesday night.
Well
It's a lot
played.
of fun.
Yeah,
That
and I
mask is
said, "Oh,
great.
I'll put on the mask because it's an AEW thing."
It works.
Where'd the mask come from? Another crate?
Yes.
Hair is itchy.
Very
Jesus
nice.
Christ.
Not the only one that dresses up for podcasts.
I like it. I like people getting on board with the dressing up for pods.
I've been having a real issue with my face lately.
It was suggested to me to take a stick
Lately?
and put meat on it like someone else did. Wow, man.
Because I'm having a real issue with my face lately.
Yeah, I look
That
like
stopped
fucking
me.
shit Monday night. I look like I'm all puffy. Like I just ate like some kind of shellfish and I'm allergic to it.
You look great. Don't
I
talk
mean-
about my phone like that. How dare you?
It's
Oh,
maybe it's your salt intake. Maybe it's the fact that you're drinking straight Jack Apple on the rocks. But
Maybe it's the fact that you've worked every day for 4 months.
I feel
like-
well
Very true.
rested.
14 hours a day.
Feel well. I got to meet my new nephew today, so that was fun.
Go on. Who is he? Tell us everything.
He is Everett. He is 6 weeks old. He's got tiny hands. He's having poop problems, but man, his farts fucking stink.
So just like his uncle.
No, see, I thought when I held him, he was gonna inherit my poop powers and be able to poop, but no, he just farted, and it was, I guess, because he's having poop problems. His farts are, ooh, man. I ain't got no kids, so I don't know about no baby farts, but goddamn.
I can't
Goddamn.
pull up comments because I'm not logged into StreamYard, but Kevin said Matt's new nephew is 26, and that popped me so hard. There you go. Your new 26-year-old nephew whose farts smell real bad and is having poop problems. I do like that you view shitting your pants as a superpower. I wouldn't consider you an optimistic person, but that's a very optimistic way to look at things. I like that a lot.
Look, he was born prematurely. He's healthy, but he's having some issues.
Sure.
So if I could pass on my shitting powers to him, it's a win.
Everybody wins.
Does anybody remember the movie Mystery Men?
yes.
Because one of the heroes in there was the spleen, and his power was his farts. So I'm just saying.
All
I mean, their farts are powerful.
Was
I'm
it
so
Paul
fucking
Rubens'
tripped
spleen?
up by you having the same
Yes, it
background
was.
as me.
I just noticed that.
You didn't notice that? That's what we're talking about. Single white female.
That's brilliant. I love it.
The Mariano Rivera plaque is what really is throwing me off.
This must have been when you had your camera at a higher angle.
If
So
I had
that's
known,
just-
I would have been in on the bit.
Well, it was a surprise as much for you as anyone, but
No, I love it. I love it.
So how you guys doing? How's everyone been?
Oh, I'm very tan and relaxed, Matthew. How are you?
If that is tan, you need to fix your light because you still light and pasty as shit, Kate.
I just.
On the Kate spectrum, I'm tan, which is
By the
pretty
way,
fucking white
Kate,
still.
Kate's introducing people with just tuned in, hearing farts are powerful. So thank you, Harry.
Thank you. It's not wrong. It's a true statement. But should we talk Jera Cruz now? I'm gonna take up time per usual. So how are you guys? Ant is sans glasses today, which is very weird.
I've been sans glasses for weeks now because I don't know. Just one night I was wearing the glasses and it started bothering my eyes. So now I just go no glasses and I can still read the screen. So that works.
Well played. I like it.
But
Science.
I did go to that's very true. Science. I did go to a concert Monday night in Pennsylvania, which was weird. Only because when I got the email from the venue, they were like, "We are following all local and state COVID provisions, and there are no COVID restrictions in place. So I was like, that's fucking weird. That was definitely odd, but it was a good show. Matt, I think a few of those bands are up your alley. Gojira.
Oh, I like Gojira.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were. I'm not a huge fan, but they were very good live. They were very good.
Yeah.
I am a fan of one of the openers, Knocked Loose. They were very good. They're always good live. And then a new band.
That was my nickname in high school.
Oh, I think you were the one getting knocked loose.
It's neither here nor there.
Oh, and then Gina and I went up in East Stroudsburg at the Sherman Theater. I think it's East Stroudsburg. Okay. It's up in Stroud. It's a good venue. But Gina was there. I went with Gina. She was shooting the show. And she was shooting the opening band, and then she shot everybody else. But the opening band was called Alien Weaponry, and I didn't get to see them because I was looking for parking. And by the time I got through the line, they were pretty much ending, which was a bummer because apparently they're from New Zealand and they sing in the like native New Zealand tongue. I caught like the last half of the last song and it sounded great. So I got to go check them out, but it was a lot of fun. It was just good.
I just looked them up on Spotify. I'm going to be checking them out later.
Yeah, you call your band Alien Weaponry. You have my undivided attention immediately.
I was personally bummed because I've heard about them. Like I didn't know about the whole New Zealand thing, but I had heard about them. I've seen their name around and I've just never had to check them out. So I was like, this is going to be great. But I forgot that all the parking is street parking up there. So I had to walk like 4 blocks to get to the show. And by that time they were pretty much ending. But yeah, they were pretty rad. And it was fun, except like I said, it was just weird to be in a fully packed concert venue. Like, and there were people in masks and stuff, but I was like, I'm wearing a mask. This is fucking weird. But it was a lot of fun. Gojira had these giant, like fog blasters. Basically, they looked like giant, cold spray canisters that sprayed fog out into the air that looked really awesome. And Gina said they scared the shit out of her when she was taking photos because you didn't know when they were going to go off. At certain times, she said one of the security guards would go, "Here it comes," and then they would just blast off. But other times it would just go off, and she said it was really freaked out. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And the rest of the week has sucked so far. So that's my week.
Yes.
That's me with pyro at wrestling shows, by the way. And I know it's coming because it's the entrance, but every time there's pyro at a show.
Yeah.
What are you, the accountant from the Muppets? I'm going to pop a pyro.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Oh. By the way, I'm loving that I couldn't get rid of your name on my thing, so Kate's just right there.
I like you having Yankee stuff in the background. It's better than your Philly trash that you normally have.
Yeah, Matt Reichele's trying to say I'm a closet Yankee fan. I am not.
Matt Reichele knows.
By the way, Flyers scored. They're up 1-0. Thought everyone should know.
Who cares? Nobody gives a shit.
Wow.
Who cares?
Yikes. Hot take.
How
have you been? Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm great. Living the dream.
Living the dream.
Yeah, doing work shit, doing podcast shit, getting ready for a 10-year anniversary show. Hope my favorite wrestling company doesn't disappear off the face of the earth. The usual Wednesday shit.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Had a great show this week with Dan Barry and the Ninja Mac on the Shining Wizards Wrestling podcast. This Monday, this is the first anyone's going to hear of this. We have Paro from the NWA is joining us.
All right.
That's some breaking news. And in 2 weeks, I'm just giving it away for free here on the Mark Order podcast.
2 weeks.
Christian Rocco, who you may not be familiar with, he's a wrestler down at the Monster Factory. And there's a story behind that because he started following the Shining Wizards podcast when he was like 12 and would come visit us at conventions. And now he's a professional wrestler. So I said, we're going to book this kid. And Taylor Rust, recently released from NXT, now maybe still employed by Ring of Honor. I don't know. He's joining us in 2 weeks. So the Shining Wizards podcast is rocking and rolling, and I am doing the same. Maybe, I don't know, rocking, rolling.
You are. I think you have to take 100% credit for this kid becoming a professional wrestler. Like, oh, he started listening to the podcast at 12. We cultivated his love for it. Just take the credit, ride the wave.
No, he was well versed. He was stuck out like a sore thumb. When you're 12 years old and you show up at a wrestling convention with a Bruiser Brody t-shirt on and you can recite the history of Bruiser Brody, you know this kid's a special apple. So well, I'm excited to talk to him in 2 weeks. I'm still working on some more guests for this week and working on the pizza truck, slinging pies. I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend with the rain. So I don't know. The Rangers, the Flyers scored again.
Yes, they did.
Okay,
So
we don't
happy. I missed last week's show because of work, so I didn't get to talk about our fun adventure at New Japan. But it was a good time. I had a lot of drinks, a lot of double Jack and Cokes, and on two hot dogs, and like 6 double Jack and Cokes. Then I was dying at the cheesesteak place. Anthony had to buy me water.
If you do your Steiner math of 6 double Jack and Cokes is 12 Jack and Cokes.
We're going down easy peasy, 1, 2, 3 easy. So, but I survived.
Yeah.
And,
How are you?
Yeah. I thought you were gonna die eating that cheesesteak. You were coughing a lot. It wasn't like Matt wasn't sick. It just something went.
Did he
down
try
the
to
wrong
eat it
pipe,
whole?
and he was sitting. I mean, he probably would have had an easier time, but something went down the wrong pipe, and he just couldn't stop coughing. And I'm like, "Do you need help?" He's like, "He just get water." I was like, "All right, man." And then that took like 18 minutes because the 2 fucking kids who were getting their shit, I guess, didn't have money. So like they were waiting for somebody to grab money. I'm like, who cares? I'm like, I just need water, man.
Hockey updates. Well, what was funny,
Ryan, what have you been up to? Oh, sorry, Kate.
Watching hockey and making
soundboard
and
Matt.
putting this Photoshop
Soundboard
together in
Matt.
Microsoft Paint.
That's pretty much it. Well, I was on the cruise. You guys also killing it on getting a show out on Wednesday night, despite a lot of chaos going on. Doing a bonus episode on Saturday. You guys killed it. Thank you for crushing it last week.
How was the Jera cruise?
So I thought about Matt a lot for there were 3 times
alone at sea.
No, I was not alone. I brought my friend who does not like wrestling, which was real fun. Not doesn't like it, isn't familiar. She's kind of into it now. Won her over, but it took 7 hours to get on the fucking boat.
Yeah,
so, that sucked. And there were like 3 different points where I was like, Matt would have murdered someone.
I don't know.
Someone, like because of the length of the wait, the ineptness, and I could just hear Matt's voice in the back of my head being like, "What are we doing?" Like,
here's a very important question to this, and this would definitely dictate my anger in the line. Could you access a restroom?
You could access a restroom, and when the people who were on the boat were doing, there's like a toast. Everybody gives you a beer or a shot or whatever when you're about to set sail, because they like did that before we left while we were still in line. They also brought everybody beers and chicken sandwiches, which is pretty cool of them. But
could you sit down?
Wait, what was that?
Could you sit down?
There weren't really chairs, but there were, like, you could sit against the wall, and there was an outlet to charge my phone in, because that was the other thing. I was like, all my check-in papers are on my fucking phone, and we were waiting for 7 hours. The first 3 hours were outside. The next 4 hours were a combination of like inside and then sitting down while you're waiting for your COVID results, and then walking up actually onto the boat to check in. But there were 2 things that had happened. Well, 3. So this was the first 6-man cruise to set sail since the beginning of the pandemic. So this was their first go around at it, which doesn't help. For those of you who don't know, 6-man basically charters a Norwegian Cruise Line boat, uses all of Norwegian Cruise Line staff, and they put on mostly concert type stuff, but they also put on this wrestling cruise. They then had this partnership with CVS where they were supposed to rapid test everybody before you got on the boat. Very safe that way. You had to be vaccinated. You had to have a PCR within 96 hours, and they rapid tested you, which makes you feel safe. But they, I guess, thought it was going to be like 20 people that were working for CVS, but not all of them were swabbing. So they had half the manpower that they thought they were going to have, and their union workers. So when their time was up, they bounced, and it was only the supervisors. So they said someone's head is going to roll over that, because that's it's so preventable and so unnecessary, which is where I was starting to lose it, because I was like, I understand inconvenience and shit going wrong, like so preventable. Like just double checking shit would have prevented that. But on the boat was really fun. It was definitely a step down from last year. That first day, like I didn't want to go watch wrestling or rock out to mediocre rock bands. Like we just went to bed, we ate, and we're out. Like very, very frustrating. But the rest of the experience was super fun. You just didn't have the A-level talent there because they weren't filming, but you did still have like, it's basically Matt's dream lineup. It was Orange Cassidy, Marco Stunt, the Wingmen, Colt Cabana. You did have Britt Baker. You did have Chris Statlander, Stu Grayson, and Uno. Ricky Starks. Yes. Oh.
I have a question.
Yes.
You said the Wingmen were there. All of the Wingmen?
I didn't get
Yeah,
to
why don't you tell Ant how you let us down?
let you down. I let myself down the most, but
You didn't
buy the man a drink.
You didn't fuck Pretty Peter Avalon?
I did not
Come on.
marry or kill Pretty Peter Avalon. A huge disappointment all around. I wanted to buy him a mojito with my open drink package. But it was really cool because like there were wrestlers all over. Like you could just be playing blackjack with Colt Cabana and Orange Cassidy at one point in the casino. I was hanging out with JD Drake in the hot tub at one point. Like it's really fun. Will Ospreay was A, just drunk the entire cruise, and B, when we were hanging out by the pool, there were these people, assholes, who decided they wanted to start like their own belly flop contest and were trying to outdo each other. And then Will Ospreay just put an end to it with like the most insane flip into a pool I've ever seen. Like it was just like, we're gonna end this right now, and do the most athletic shit off the side of the pool ever. But it was a really fun experience. It was just definitely marred by that first night, and definitely a step down from last year. But I think when they go in March, they'll get back on track, because I assume they'll be taping Dynamite again and having kind of the more A-level talent there. But it was really fun. My friend that ended up going with me, my cabin mate, switched a couple of times. But she was like, I'm not a wrestling fan, but I like open drink packages and white girl shit in the Bahamas. Like, let's go. She is like very introverted, but had enough beer muscles to do they had like a drunk spelling bee where you take a shot and you have to go spell a word. It was like wrestling words and Urban Dictionary words. So she had no shot because she like can't spell like anybody's name from New Japan or like these weird Urban Dictionary words. But she was like very upset because it was hosted by Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. And she was like, they didn't do anything to help me, and they were helping other people. And so later that night when Orange Cassidy was wrestling Ricky Starks, she became like the biggest Ricky Starks fan in the world. It was so funny. So they're all like booing him, and she was like, fuck everybody booing. That's my guy. Like she did not care who the heels and the faces were. It was all about who helped her at her drunk spelling bee and who didn't. So it was just really fun. Like even as a non-wrestling fan, the more you saw people on the boat doing different things, and then you would see them wrestle, you're starting to put two and two together and understand people's characters and personalities. And for non-wrestling fans to have Orange Cassidy and the Wingmen coming out in their hotel robes and Starks and like these characters that are so accessible and fun, and Colt Cabana, obviously, like it immediately draws you in. So I think for having kids and people who might not be like the biggest wrestling fans in the world, but are there with boyfriends or whatever, it's a really fun experience for them too. They do a good job of catering to like whatever level markdom you're sitting on the pole at. So it's great.
So, Kate, you still didn't tell us why this didn't happen with Pretty Peter Avalon.
I just didn't see him on the boat out in the wild at all. Like
You saw JD Drake.
I did, but they don't all
in a
have
hot
them
tub
together.
Yeah, but you could have leveraged one to the other.
That's your in. He's there, and you say, "Oh,
Yeah.
I do a podcast. I know everyone does a podcast, JD, but just listen. We play this. We play fuck, marry, kill. You know what that's like. They do that in the South, right? Yes, you're a gentleman. You know this. And I said I wanted to do all three with Pretty Peter Avalon. So maybe
You never wanted to kill him.
Okay, I'm sorry. I never wanted to kill him. Maybe, if I could just get a photo with him or something. Like you tell him he's got a fan. I'm not gonna like molester him. I'm not a creep. I just want to send.
Well,
it
I
to
am gonna molester him, but he'll like it.
Yeah, but she's got to lie about that so she can get her mitts on him. You say, "Oh, this is this. Look at this thirst trap photo I put on Twitter yesterday. Show him this.
Yep.
Tag him in it.
True. I
Okay.
could have. I think it was
didn't need
because Colt Cabana was also on the boat, so I felt like my
enough.
heart.
Matt,
was-
he didn't need the photo. Kate was in a hot tub.
That's true. I was there.
Yeah, but I don't know if she was like, I'm not gonna let these people see me in my bikini. I'm just gonna go in a t-shirt.
I mean, I had so much soft serve ice cream that it really depends on what day I was in that bikini because I was not looking cute by the end of it. I was eating like a 5-year-old the entire cruise. I had so much chocolate milk and soft serve ice cream and way too much food with cheese on it. It was great. It was really, really fun. And
That's how you do a cruise.
That is how you do a cruise.
I told you I did
wasn't
a
gonna
13.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I did a 13-day Mediterranean cruise, and we went to.
There's a thirst
We
trap
went
in Kate.
We went to Italy. We went to France. We went to Greece. No matter what I ate when we got off the boat, as soon as I got back on the boat, cheeseburger and a soft serve vanilla ice cream cone every fucking day.
I don't know what it is, but last time I was doing that, eating a hot dog normally, but I was doing the like barbecue grill, whatever, grab stuff too all the time. It was the same deal.
Grabbing lots of hot dogs last time, huh?
Oh my God. Set
Hot dog
myself
here,
up. Just
hot dog there. She's just
me walking right
As many
into
as
that
she could
one.
get her mitts on.
There was only one hot dog I wanted, all right, and I didn't get it. So a very fun time. And it was just nice too because I wasn't gonna make my friend go through like meet and greet stuff when she didn't give a shit about any of the wrestlers. Like, hey, wait in this line. First of all, I just had waiting in line PTSD the whole cruise. I didn't want to wait in another line ever again. But it's all included. Like the cost is all included on that. So yes, Millionaire Matt.
Did your friend grab any hot dogs?
She did not. She grabbed a lot of Painmakers. It goes in the chat. Thank you.
I was trying to get there before you. Sorry.
All
I got it. Don't worry. I got you.
All right,
Always one psycho. She did not grab any hot dogs. They had specialty drinks that were all named after AEW things. And she was like, I don't know what the fuck a Painmaker is, but it's delicious. And she was drinking them the entire time. I know.
Joe
I
wants to know,
failed. I think if
with
I
all
had
that
had a
thirst
real
trapping-
interaction with him, it would have been good. But he did. I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram, but he does the ending his day thing by like face planting onto the bed. And I felt that way when I got home. And so I did that and tagged him and we had a nice conversation. And he knows that I owe him a mojito now. So next time I'm going to get Pretty Peter Avalon that mojito. But he's so fun to watch perform. Like his facial expressions ringside on a boat is just like the funniest shit you've ever seen. It's so much fun.
Is it different than when he's on land?
I was just so close. Like you're so much closer to them, so I don't think his faces are any different. But like, you're so close to everyone because there's I don't know 2,000 people on the boat. You figure maybe there's 1,000 watching, and you get a good enough seat. Like it's pretty great. Very fun experience.
Hey Matt, we
Yes.
saw Osprey wrestle. Do you remember?
I do. I remember he wrestled Alex
Do you-
Zane. It was fantastic.
Do you remember what you were saying? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
You gaslighting son of a bitch! You gaslighting son of a bitch!
Oh yeah,
You-
I said that a couple
Oh.
times.
And a couple.
What? Oh, now it's Matt. What are you doing? Fucking 12 months ago, everyone's like, Will Ospreay's a gaslighting son of a bitch, and he's holding people down. He should get canceled. Either you fucking own it, people. You're gonna fucking say it on fucking Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Do it at a fucking live show, you fucking sissy assholes.
I think that information got debunked, which is why people backed off. But I
fuck
respect
him.
it.
Fuck him. He shit talk Shingo. You fuck.
My friend noticed he
What?
looked
Where
exactly.
is the echo coming from?
Kate.
That was aggressive. Jesus. Is it me?
I don't know.
I don't know, Matt. Where is the echo coming from? Anyway, my friend noticed that Will Ospreay looked a lot like Ryan Philippe, and so she was just drunk on the boat, and we'd see him like in the elevator, and she'd be like, Ryan Philippe, and he was like, I don't know who that is, but I hope he's good looking. And we took several.
Did you
pictures.
compare notes on overalls with Powerhouse Hobbs?
Okay, so seeing Will Hobbs just walking around is wild. That dude is enormous and a brick house. He didn't have his overalls on the first 2 days, but on day 3, he did have his overalls on, and I had my overalls on. His are much cooler and more filled out.
Papa Squat,
Marco was-
Marco Stunt was there.
Fuck you, Tony. You piece of
Gotta
shit.
have the stars.
He is the most over person on the crew. Like, he's just.
He
always
sucked. Did you watch his
everywhere.
shitty performance?
We did not watch his performance, so I
he's
don't
so
know.
good. He's so good, but nobody watches his shitty performance like his
I
shitty
would've.
wrestling.
I would have.
You suck, Marco Stunt. You suck. Yeah, you don't belong in a wrestling ring. How do you like them apples? Get a haircut, you hippie.
Get the
Everybody but Matt
haircut, you
loves him.
hippie.
Well, then.
Well, Kate, while you let us all down,
Hey, you didn't let me
guess
Thanks, Matt. I feel like I
Matt,
let
do-
myself.
Do me a favor, Matt. Talk.
Talk.
It's Kate with the echo.
All right, well, I'll plug my headphones in.
so
I muted you and then I
unprofessional.
heard no echo.
Wow, Rate. Jesus. Rate is back. Fantastic.
I don't know why
My
that popped back
goodness.
up, but
Well,
Marco Stunt for
Kate,
the 10th anniversary show. I hear you, Matt, Tony. I love it.
Good luck.
Ooh,
Good. Try and
along
book 'em.
with-
try and book them.
along with King Mo and Bobby Lashley. My gosh.
I turned off MLW the other day because King Mo was on commentary.
He's a king
A king of what?
of Molandia.
No, he should not be in a position where he is courting wrestlers to be in a wrestling stable like he's some fucking ultimate wrestling. No, he sucks shit. He doesn't belong in the world of professional wrestling.
hold on. Kate, you're king of what? And you couldn't just go with Motown? You had to go with Molandia?
Towns don't have kings.
King of Motown is a thing.
Yeah, but King Mo is not a king of Motown.
Can we cry about ROH now?
Yeah.
No, I don't want
Yeah,
to cry about.
I'm trying to
ROH.
move on, but everybody keeps bringing up Marco Stunt and King Mo and blah blah blah. So the big news of the day was that Ring of Honor put a statement out earlier. It read, "Throughout this pandemic, our top priority was to keep everyone healthy and safe, and despite not producing any live events over 18 months, we were able to keep everyone fully contracted. We now find ourselves at a time where we need to make changes to our new business operations and are planning a pivot for Ring of Honor with a new mission and strategy. The year will culminate with a final battle in December, and we will be taking the first quarter of 2022 to work internally to reimagine Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor has the most dedicated fans in the industry, and we appreciate their loyalty and patience as we reconceptualize Ring of Honor. We anticipate returning to live events in April for the Super Card of Honor with the new fan-focused product and provide a unique experience for wrestling fans. So, fellas, what the fuck is going on with Ring of Honor?
Fellas and gal, thank you very much.
Well, I don't.
Well, I just say
saw-
fellas as a group.
I'm just kidding.
I saw that come across the wire, and then I saw the fucking shittily worded Dave Meltzer tweet go out, which was incorrect from what I'm reading. No, they didn't release all their contracts or all their talent. They didn't release them all. They're going to let their contracts run out, but they are free to work elsewhere immediately. They're going to pay them until the end of the year, until their contracts run out.
It's essentially the same end game, though. Is that by the end, no contracts exist?
Yes, but I think it's an even better situation than that.
No,
I think it's until March, isn't it?
No, it's end of the year unless you're signed for like long term, and then you get paid through March if you're long term.
There you go. Okay.
Which
And
it is better than release, but it's the same end game.
Right, and they are not canceling their TV show.
Right. That was the other part of it. So yes, to, I guess, update everybody, the reports are now saying that releases are effective at the end of the year. If a wrestler was signed into 2022 or beyond, they'll get paid until March 31st. And the talent who wants to work elsewhere, Ring of Honor is working with them to allow them to do that. And the television show, as Matt said, there still is a television show. So, much different picture than it was first put out today. So those are kind of the updates. But still, it kind of begs the question, like, what the fuck is going on? It's a really weird situation. Like, there's just all of a sudden out of nowhere, as they've been building to Final Battle, it's just so weird to see this announcement today. I mean, Matt, you for the Monday night show work really closely with Ring of Honor. I know you watch a lot of Ring of Honor. We've all been to the Ring of Honor shows. That's kind of where we first started getting into all this stuff together and talking wrestling. So I mean, where are you at with all this news today?
As it says on the screen, I am sad because I have no idea what the first statement they put out. It was a little like, yeah, I know January, February, March is kind of slow, and they've been running in Baltimore, and you can't really, fly people out to the east once a month because of the weather and all these other circumstances that could fuck things up. Maybe take a couple months off. Like, I know we talked about it Monday night. Maybe like they're giving their guys an off season. Everyone can rest up and all this other shit. And then you see all this other information come out, and it's very like, man, what the fuck? And then you go on Twitter and you see all this talent. Like, I want to thank Ring of Honor. They were there for me, when I was 16 years old, and they have their fingerprints all over the current state of wrestling. And it's like, am I reading too much into this, thinking like, this is it? Like, we're going to go to Final Battle and it will legit be the last fucking Ring of Honor show ever? And I really hope not. I reached out to a bunch of Ring of Honor guys that I'm friends with, today. And I don't want to know. I didn't ask them anything. I was just like, if you need anything, we're here for you. Like, I don't want to, I just don't know. It's so out of left field. None of it makes sense. They can't be hemorrhaging money because they're not running live events. They're taping
right
all at once. They're owned by a fucking TV company. So I don't know. And it's like, they're doing such a great job. Their TV product is fantastic. It's my favorite hour of TV. They've invested in all these women. They've really made a super strong and compelling women's division. And they've made me care about so many different characters that I didn't care about before, because they've taken the time through the restart of the pandemic to really like hone in on some. Cheeseburgers reinvented. Eli Isom is a character now. Dalton Castle, like, I fucking hated Dalton Castle before the pandemic, and then like now he's got a character. Dak Draper, Bandito's your world champion. Gresham, the story with the foundation, like this past week with Vincent, it's super compelling, and this just comes out of fucking left field, and I'm like, God damn it, this is like ECW all over again. Like, I was at the last fucking ECW pay-per-view. I don't want to be at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but in the pit of my stomach, it's like, fuck, this might be it. And the way all these fucking talents are talking, it's like,
Yeah.
is it a work shoot? Are they working us because they're going to come back bigger and better? Or is this like, do we have to be concerned?
Yeah, I mean, the big one for me was, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but Maria Kanellis put out a big statement on Twitter, which made it seem really like this is a dire situation, like it's over. And I know that, they've been rebuilding the women's division and they've got some good talent there now. I mean, I hate to do it, but Kate, I'm going to throw it to you just because we're so critical on this show of the women's wrestling in the division. And I know you're such a huge proponent of that. I mean, Ring of Honor was actually going through it the right way, building it back, and it was looking pretty strong. I mean, this sucks from a women's wrestling perspective because they were actually one of the ones who were starting to get it right. I don't know what, not just from a women's perspective. I want your take on that, but overall, what's your thoughts on Ring of Honor?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels very doomsday out there. Like everything that I've read has been, at best, it's extremely uncertain. That to me reads like maybe Sinclair's trying to sell or something. There's so much value in the library too that almost makes me more nervous. like that they could just shut it down and try and make money off the library. I think you could see if it goes that route, somebody do what they've done with NWA for so many years, but now kind of gave them a home, which is just like go out and license the name if they let that expire. But with such a rich catalog, I don't know if they would do that. I certainly hope not. But to me, it would make sense. I bitch about it on Twitter like every fucking week. Like there's a point where Sinclair's either got to invest or get out. And I wonder if them owning Ring of Honor ended up being more toxic than helpful because they don't put them on TV. And it's kind of like the best kept secret in wrestling, and it shouldn't be that you can go watch the product for free on the website. So to me, I wonder if this was like a shit or get off the pot thing with Sinclair. I don't know anything. There's nothing that Sean's reported. I don't have any insider information or anything like that. But it being so stark and sudden, and the one thing that has been reported with some credibility, it seems like, is that this was not a Ring of Honor call. This was a Sinclair broadcast call. Like they have decided to shut this down. So I don't know. It certainly seems like from what the talent is saying that they were at least told not to plan on them coming back. So if they're planning to reinvent the wheel, which is like, but as a publicist, the most PR bullshit way of saying we're not saying that we're shutting down. Like it's the most adorable way publicists like to take an easy out. I don't think they'll be back by March of 2022. I'm wondering if this is them looking to sell because, if you're not going to invest, and now's the time to invest, by the way, like not just talking about independent talent, like there's a lot of people right now that don't want to work in WWE. And a lot of them signed up to work in NXT and got sold a bill of goods that they're not happy about being there anymore. And people's contracts are up, and not everyone can go to AEW. Will Kevin Owens go to AEW? Probably. What is Johnny Gargano gonna? I don't know. Like, there's so many people whose contracts are expiring that I think would really love to go back to what Ring of Honor's doing right now because it's the closest product to NXT 1.0 or 1.5 or whatever the fuck. So it's such a weird time because it seems like for a third wrestling alternative, I know a lot of people are hot on GCW, but the alternative with the clearest voice to me the past 18 months has been Ring of Honor. Like they know exactly who they are. They built it on the back of Jonathan Gresham. They did so many great things. It's so many things right. They were, to me, the ones that could have really moved the needle for themselves. And it's really disappointing. But like the starkness of it and the uncertainty of it makes me think this is a tension between Ring of Honor and Sinclair, because why else would this be so blindsiding? Like that's such a weird thing.
Well, the weird thing was, I feel like earlier in the day, I was seeing a lot of, like, in a couple places they were saying, I was seeing something say Sinclair axed it, right? But I feel like in the past Sinclair has actually valued Ring of Honor because it's essentially cheap content for them, right? Like, there's not a whole lot they have to do. It's basically just free for them if they want to utilize it on any of their channels. They really doing it across the board, but I mean, it's an option, so it does seem sort of weird. And I kind of agree with you, Kate, is this like being your third best option? And I think like a lot of the stuff they did with the pure wrestling was a standout for them, right? Like that was something totally different that like nobody else was doing. That really could kind of set them apart from others. So this was just a very weird piece of news to get today. Schlong, you've been awfully quiet. To be honest, Schlong, I don't know how into Ring of Honor you are, but clearly as kind of like a, third or fourth major brand out there, this is a big deal.
Excuse me, I've been to 2 Ring of Honor shows this year. 2.
My apologies.
I mean, I was getting into them because of that. It's just hard to get into something, there's only so many hours in the day. I will say, no matter what it is, you don't release all the contracts or let them expire at the end of March and then bring people back for better money. So no matter what happens, it's worse off for the wrestlers. I mean, that which really sucks because there's just no way you do this and then say, well, hey, we're going to bring you back and pay you more. Otherwise, you just keep them on what they had. They may just cut down how many they use and really, really limit it. And they may try to go full studio show. It sucks. I don't know how expensive Ring of Honor is to make. I can't imagine it's super expensive if you start being able to get crowds back in there again.
No, and a lot of their talent was not your Jonathan Gresham's, but they had a lot of talent that were actually free agents that were doing like the Impact thing where it was like appearance based. So talent that was, because they weren't running live dates, which is actually the right thing to do by a wrestler, in my opinion, is to say, we're signing you for this many dates throughout the year, but that's not like a salaried situation or anything. Like, so they were supplementing their talent already anyway. So to your point, do you give that younger crop real contracts? Because Jonathan Gresham's about to be everywhere, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're going to lose a lot of their top talent in this time. I don't know if they're going to have the choice to bring them back for less money, because look at wrestling right now. Like, Jonathan Gresham could go work New Japan, AEW, like Impact, all he wants. And do you lose faith?
No, I don't think you lose faith, because don't forget, when the pandemic started and they didn't run, they paid everybody.
They did.
Every single person. So I think in the wrestling industry, I think that holds some weight. Now, there's a reason why the Briscoe showing up in GCW 2-3 weeks ago was one of the few times they've strayed from Ring of Honor. And when it's all said and done and they write their book or they do their tell-all, the amount of times the WWE and every other company came calling to them through their whole tenure in Ring of Honor is going to be in the fucking 20s and 30s, no doubt, because they legit have a license to print money. There's a reason they stayed there. There's a reason Jay Lethal has been there as long as he's been there. Does it, if the reports are true and it's not a Ring of Honor thing, it's a Sinclair thing, can you hold that against Ring of Honor? And they're going, hey, this is the deal. Go make your money. Go be free now. Go take whatever bookings. Bandito's already booked for GCW.
For 3
that
days.
Dropped like this afternoon. He's got 3 dates and tons of names are going to follow. Gresham was already working other places. Brody King was already working other places. Now you're going to get Mike Bennett, who's been doing the independent scene. I'm sure you get Taven and Vincent, and Dickinson's doing New Japan. Like, all these guys are going to land on their feet. And you just hope that whatever happens in March or April, that some of these guys, it's a catch-22, right? They could be loyal, but at the end of the day, they have to feed their families and they have to put food on their tables and they have to take care of themselves. On the flip side, it's like When you woke up on October 27th, you had a fucking job and a contract and you were set, say you signed a contract till 2024, you were fucking good. And then, whoosh. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
I don't think anyone's holding it against ROH. Like, I haven't seen any negative takes against the company because it came out. It was a Sinclair decision. So they understand the guys who actually run the show are good. I'm saying more from a point of you're Jonathan Gresham. You've given everything to this company. Now Sinclair comes in and says, hey, we can come back, but we're going to offer you 75% of what you were making, 60% of what you were making, because we're just not going to pay it. There's no way you hang around out of that loyalty, because Sinclair at any minute has proven they have no loyalty to you. ROH may have loyalty to you, but Sinclair doesn't.
If
so
they're
he's got
with
to then
Sinclair by the time they come back, though,
that's a whole other argument.
Yeah. That bums me out the most, because John Gresham has said so many times he was like, I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to stay at Ring of Honor forever. So that one of all of them, I think, breaks my heart the most.
And then the flip side to this is, like, Asian Joe just puts it up here, like, Impact and AEW are going to bolster the rosters with some of this ROH talent. Who do you see going to which company? We've had this conversation ad nauseum with all the WWE releases. Like, these guys can go wherever, but what are, like, Tony Nese is now in AEW. Is he just a guy who's going to be on Dark and Dark Elevation? Like, we're running out of space, people. Like, Bray Wyatt still doesn't have a home.
Yeah.
Well, he's, I think, yeah, I mean, I think that clearly, like, a guy like Bray Wyatt, right? I think he knows where he's going to land, right? Like, I think that's a different conversation, but I think a lot of this talent in Ring of Honor, not that it's not at the same level of some of those big names that get released out of the E, but they're definitely not household names. I could give you a bunch of names I'd like to see show up in AEW or even Impact, but I don't realistically think it's going to necessarily happen across the board because, like you're saying, Matt, there's just not enough room. Yeah. I think that what would essentially make the most sense to employ the most guys, no matter who would do it, would be, some sort of, purchase of Ring of Honor, let them keep their name, make the money off of the Ring of Honor name, but use it as your feeder system, right? So, like, I'm not saying AEW should do it because I think they have a lot of talent, but, like, for Impact, would something like that make sense? And again, not saying they have the money to do it, but would it make sense for somebody like NWA or, Impact to do something like that? It might, because you've now basically leveled up your talent and, you essentially could have two shows, but I don't know how much sense that would make financially for either one of those companies. Like, you have to have the capital to do it. And nobody else really has the capital to do it. But there's a lot of talent. Like, if you said to me, you can have Brody King in AEW, yeah, sign me up. Fuck yeah. Gresham, yup. Like, you could even say Danhausen. Yes, give me Danhausen. But, like, I don't think we're going to see the same huge number of contracts signing that we've seen in the past for some of the bigger names. I don't see it happening because I don't think that the money's really out there to sign a lot of these guys.
No, the thing to me that sucks the most is that Japan is still on lockdown, because I feel like so many of these guys, I know that they could do the American side, but, like, New Japan seems like the next most logical place for a lot of these guys to go. My thing is, before you even get into the bloated roster, there is, like, okay, so let's look across the pond. NXT, Kyle O'Reilly, his contract's up. Are you signing him so that you have Undisputed Era now also in AEW and you have that complete story because you just signed Bobby Fish? There's no way they're not signing Kevin freaking Owens. Like, you've got to sign that guy, right? Do you sign Gargano? Like, there's so much. It's such a bigger conversation than these ROH guys and where do they go. The top ones for me showing up in AEW are absolutely Brody King. I'm totally with you. I think there could be so much fun to be had there. I would like to see, selfishly, the Briscoes go to the tag team division because they're so different than anything that's happening there. Gresham and Danielson is a dream match. And now, I mean, Gresham and Daniel Garcia. Like there's a lot of those guys over there that I would like to see. Trying to think of anybody else that's like right
Even
off the
some
top
of the
of my head.
women's, there's the
Sure,
women's
so-
talent too. You know,
Well, they broke the news that AEW was actually talking to Roxy before she signed with Ring of Honor, so she might go over there. But Miranda Alizé for sure. I think she's an absolute standout heel. I don't know. Trisha Adora is like the biggest no-brainer in the world. I don't know Willow.
And she just signed a contract too.
Like that's what's so surprising is like just signed a contract. You know who this breaks my heart for as much as anybody is Tony Deppen. They've been saying sign Tony Deppen for months. It sure felt like it was leading that way. And now, I mean, like he put in so much work with this one promotion in hopes to get signed there. And now it just in a flash doesn't really exist. He has a great following in GCW, of course, but like, God, give the guy a break. But I don't think Willow was signed there, but she to me is the hottest free agent woman that I would like to see probably signed anywhere. I think she's so special. And, Maria on the planning side, if you hear Riccaboni talk, the person I want to see go anywhere the most is Ian Riccaboni to commentary at Impact. Oh my God, go make a difference there, please. But Riccaboni put over Maria huge as being the person that really planned out this whole women's tournament and the division. If you've seen any of the interviews he's done. So I would, Backstage could be great. Mike Bennett isn't like my favorite guy in the world, but he could fit in like a Seidel role or something. He could go to Impact and do some character work as well, I think. But it's just such a big conversation now because there are so many people at WWE that want to leave WWE. And, like everybody I think was like, oh, Bronson Reed got released from NXT. Where's he gonna go? And it's like, man, he's like 40th on the list right now. Like it's such a big conversation. But yeah, those are kind of my top that I can think of. I feel like a lot of the ROH guys could do really cool stuff in the Impact X division as well. Like CB, LSG, like going to X division at Impact could make like there's so many dream matches with like Rohit and stuff over there that I would love to see that I think could be really fun. So yeah. That's my thoughts.
And I know, Ryan, you have something to say, but with the whole Impact thing, they're kind of in the same boat. Where do you fucking watch it?
It's awful. It's brutal. It's killed their ratings too because where the hell do you watch Impact? Like fell off a cliff, and now it sounds like I don't know if I've read anywhere credible, but it sounds like the relationship with AEW is done. So I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, they lease so much talent. And they don't sign them that I don't know what the hell is next for them because they didn't do a lot to retain anything. I feel like other than the
Kate,
women's,
just
the knockouts are ridiculous.
Yes. So, Kate, just to your point, because you brought it up, the reports out of Ringside News were that AEW and Impact's partnership had ended after Bound for Glory. So, it not to say that door is fully closed, but if anybody from Ring of Honor was thinking, well, I can go to Impact and maybe work some crossover stuff, not necessarily unless they're still working, NWA and stuff like that. But, it's a weird situation. Ryan, what were you going to say before we kind of jumped all over you? Sorry.
That's all right. So this goes to Dark and where do you watch Ring of Honor or where do you watch Impact? All three kind of relate to me, which is I don't like as much as Dark is on YouTube and all. I don't think any three of them really utilize YouTube nearly as much as they should. I've had this question from almost day one. Why the hell isn't Dark or Elevation sponsored? You're talking almost 1 million views between the two a week. There are YouTube channels out there like now that get about the same amount of views a week that have formed whole companies. You could legitimately have a wrestling show that never left YouTube if you programmed it right and you sponsored it right and all that. So that being said, for an Impact, I know they do the $1 YouTube thing, but their biggest problem is that there's a TV company and then a not a TV company. They have a weird two system thing there. But for like an AEW, in theory, if they they could be making money on their YouTube and I don't know it because obviously there's some partnerships there and stuff that, you can make money off YouTube commercials. But in theory, they could put out an entire another show that was just YouTube money and it would pay for itself, especially with all this talent. So there is an option there that could be something completely different, or there's an option for someone to buy ROH, and if it's off Sinclair, just put it on YouTube, and it probably would sustain itself. It's just a matter that wrestling seems to be very behind the times on that one, where you see all this other stuff going to these platforms, or there's other streaming services. I'm sure, look at all these streaming services that are hurting for something that gets consistent people. You got Hulu, Netflix, obviously can't go to Peacock, but HBO Max, Paramount. There's all these places that are dying to get subscribers over. A cheap wrestling program that gets consistent views would be a nice way to get subscribers. So there's options if they're willing to look that way. It just seems everyone's been stuck on the TV money because WWE and AEW made so much on it. But you're not them. You can't go that route. But I do think AEW, I obviously don't think AEW buys everyone, but I also don't think there's a limit if they can properly program themselves other ways. It's actually what drives me nuts about WWE is that they have all this talent, but main events useless, 205's useless. They have all these shows that could be making them money and they do nothing with it.
What do you think is a good number for a weekly wrestling show on YouTube?
Like view wise, you're talking about like number of views. Man, to be honest, I couldn't even tell you, only because like I go and watch Dark and Dark Elevation after the fact, right? Like I can't watch it live,
right?
And I watch it after the fact, and I honestly don't even look at the views. I just put it on full screen on my phone and let it roll. I don't even look at that. I mean,
they get Dark gets about 300. Elevation gets about 4 or 5.
That's a lot. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because I was just looking
Elevation.
Oh, sorry, Ian.
No, I was just gonna say, like, Elevation out of those two shows seems to have like jumped to the top, right? Like, and I don't know if it's necessarily because it's in front of a live crowd more often than Dark now because they're shooting it in Orlando or what. But I mean, it is interesting to see how they've been able to essentially make it work. To Ryan's point, I'm shocked they don't have it somewhat sponsored. But Ryan, you watch it live, there's no ads that run, but after the fact, going back and watching it, there's a ton of ads thrown in. I mean, they all come in at the right time.
So they may have an agreement with YouTube that gets them paid more on those ads because you can do that on the side. But you ever watch like any podcasts or anything like bigger podcasts or bigger shows? They have advertisers separate. They have sponsors separate. This stream is sponsored by ExpressVPN. They have none of that. And like I mean, still to this day it happens, but I especially remember growing up watching wrestling in the 90s. You'd have, WCW sponsored by Castor Motor Oil, and you'd be like, okay, that was like none of that pops up. So it's not unusual for wrestling to have that kind of advertising. They just don't seem to. But I'm looking at the numbers right now. Now, last week on Dark, they had Danielson, they had Adam Cole, so they got higher numbers, but they have 418,000. Elevation had 305 because it didn't have they had a very short Elevation again, but the week before 291 and again 2. So actually it was a little high. It's Elevation hits the 4 or 5s when they have good wrestlers, but it's about 250 each. So you're talking about 500,000 views, sometimes more if you put good guys on it. And if your roster expands to where you have all these good guys, it'll always be high talent on there. So I think you could make money on that if you wanted to, but there seems to be some disconnect that that's the route, because TV money is so good, but that's good if you have the ability. If you don't, doesn't mean your wrestling company has to disappear.
I also don't know if that's a fair barometer though, because it's a vehicle that's already hooked into a successful wrestling show. So to Matt's point, like what's the number? I look at Beyond Wrestling and they have 2 million, 3 million YouTube subscribers as an indie fed, but the views aren't there, which to me means one of two things. Their subscribers are either fake or they're not putting out content in a specific enough way that it just kind of goes up there and people watch it when they feel like it. Like there's no expectation put in place. So I don't know what that number is.
Well, I think Beyond they started as just doing YouTube, and they got those subscribers. Then they went over to the pay base on IWTV, and that's where they are now.
That makes sense.
Matt, my question to you is going to be: Ring of Honor has the Honor Club, right? I mean, it's a paid subscription, and you also have their Honor Club. Also has the whole catalog, right? So you can go back and watch everything.
Not everything, but there's a lot on there. And it's not the
Okay.
easiest. To be fair, it's not very easy to navigate. Like if I want to watch Final Battle 08, I can't watch the whole show. I have to watch it match by match, which is very frustrating.
Sure. But there is some sort of infrastructure there to hold their entire catalog. And for somebody potentially, if they were to buy into it, would obviously own that, right? So, I mean, a larger company, whoever it might be, or even an Impact or whoever, could essentially buy Ring of Honor, get that infrastructure, and help blow it out. And you have now your own kind of service that you can expand to hold your own catalog. I mean, that's one way you could play it. To Ryan's point too, is like, I think I saw a week or two ago, a short blurb about the fact that like AEW is possibly looking to leverage the HBO Max relationship to host some of their catalog, right? So like there are those other services there. Now, is that going to push, is that going to move the needle for HBO Max subscriptions? Probably not. But like, it's just, this whole thing is just weird because like everybody's kind of said, like there were all these signings, they were kind of lining everything up, things seem to be going pretty well, and now all of a sudden like the rug gets pulled out. And there's just like, I don't understand. I mean, I get it, but there are so many ways you could think about kind of cost effectively doing it, getting your product out there, trying to find sponsorships to help float you along. And even with the Honor Club subscription, like that has to give you something. That it just seems crazy that this is all just kind of like coming down now. It's just a really weird situation.
It's like they're snake bitten. They can't get away from it. They put all their eggs in the Elite basket before they ran that first pay-per-view show. And then they started AEW, so they lost the Young Bucks and Cody and Kenny and Paige. They put all their eggs in that basket, and they decided not to sign, and that hurt them. And then they kind of start the restart, and then the stuff with Marty happens, and then the pandemic happens, and then they go through all that, and they fucking restart again, and it's a fucking damn good product, in my opinion. I really enjoy the Ring of Honor product, and it's just fucking sucks, man. It sucks hard. I'm really like fucking super bummed about it. Like I got home in time tonight to watch Dynamite, and it was on in the background, but I really spent like the first 45 minutes just like fucking researching all this shit and looking and seeing what people are saying and what's going on. And I'm sending people messages, and man, it's a fucking bummer, dude.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks hard.
It's a real shitty situation. And I agree. Like I don't watch Ring of Honor weekly, on a consistent basis, but from what I watch, of Ring of Honor and being at those shows, everything is really top quality. You get good matches, you get good stories. The fans at Ring of Honor shows are so into it that this sucks for the fan base. I think maybe most of, I mean, the talent obviously, but for the fans who are so into this, this one sucks. So it'll be interesting to say the least to see kind of what happens here with Ring of Honor as the months go on. But I think we're going to move along now too. And I think before we get into the AEW events of the night, because we already covered Rampage on Saturday night, I think we'll take a little break here to kind of hit our reset button. So Matt
Before
mentioned the
we do
Shining
that,
Wizards Monday. Sure.
I do just want to call out that like the first wrestling show that we were ever at, plus Danny minus Ryan, like for me, that was the first ROH show I'd ever been to. And it was the road trip that I feel like that was like the first time I got to know Ant and Danny. I think we had met one or two other times before that. Matt, I had known a little bit more, but not much. And like that experience, I feel like it almost in a lot of ways like led to where we're at now with this podcast. And like I was just thinking about that a lot today of you know, like the community sense of what is built around Ring of Honor, but also just like what a pivotal time that was for cementing our friendships, I feel like, at least, and how much fun that was. And I hadn't really been to not a ton of indie shows at that point as a wrestling fan. So like heartstrings there too, at least for me. Like I look back on that trip with so much joy. And of course, when we went in July and Matt was insane asking us if we've ever had dreams before and giggling like an idiot, just with the idea of thinking about army crawling across the room to hang out with us and going to Camden Yards. Like it sucks for that reason too. But those memories that and my young time as an ROH fan, like very quickly were built around that. So just very thankful for those in addition to all of the bummer talk, but hopefully we get to explore more, and we're definitely going to go to Final Battle. So hopefully it's just not like the finalist battle, but you can talk about commercials now. I just wanted to be happy for a second.
Well, thanks, Kate. No, it's, you know, you're right. No, that was really kind of the first time we all hung out, like outside of, I guess, the few times we were with you, like on the Monday night show.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, it was fun. We'll have another one. We know at least we'll have one more.
Yes.
In
sure.
December. One more ride for now. But Matt mentioned it before, the Monday Night Podcast, the Shining Wizards flagship show, our podcast, the Mark Order Podcast. We're all part of the Shining Wizards Network. But guys, did you know there are more shows on the Shining Wizards Network? There's a lot more shows. A lot more shows. Quality programming for your ear holes. So right now, we want to play some words about those quality shows on the Shining Wizards Network.
Everyone knows a lot of things can change in the span of 10 years. But when it comes to professional wrestling podcasting, one thing is still guaranteed. The Shining Wizards is the only place to get all the latest wrestling news, interviews with the greatest guests, and of course, tons of laughs in discussing the world of wrestling. The show is still available on Monday nights at 7 p.m. East on rantemradio.com and Rant Entertainment Media on the TuneIn app. And it's still available on all podcasting platforms. To check us out, head over to shiningwizards.com, where it's still wrestling talk and talk about wrestling.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
Horns up, everyone. When on the Shining Wizards Network, be sure every Friday to check out Radioactive Metal. Radioactive Metal is one of the longest running podcasts on the interweb. And every week we bring you a fistful of metal, including interviews with all your favorite artists, discuss all the metal news, and feature the best tunes on the air today. So grab a Lemmy, join your cool Uncle Snowy, and co-host Aaron in the pit.
Your recognized symbol of excellence in sports entertainment broadcasting from the current to the way back. Join the impact player Phil Rea and the Portuguese Man of War Choppy for the Turnbuckle Throwbacks Wrestling Podcast, live every week on rantemradio.com. Get all our episodes over at iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Audio Boom, Google Play, ShiningWizardsNetwork.com, and TurnbuckleThrowbacks.com.
Are you tired of being told what to think and believe by Hollywood elites and politicians who just don't care about you?
Tired of not getting the truth when you watch the news?
Tired of trying to figure out what pronoun to use?
Tired of mob mentality when all you want to do is think for yourself and make up your own mind?
That's where we come in. This is Justin
and Vince,
your hosts of Inconclusive Breakdown.
We are a weekly anti-PC podcast bringing you entertainment and current event news without any spin.
If you want to truly stay informed on what's going on in the world, then give us a listen every Sunday, anywhere you get podcasts, at least till Zuckerberg and Twitter Jack deplatform us.
And as always, we're proud members of the Shining Wizards Network.
Tired of the PC police telling you what you can and cannot say? Want a show that travels back to the 80s and 90s where the badass hosts have beaten down cancel culture on 3 separate occasions and carried on to gloat about it? Since 2013, The Midnight Jury is that show. Travel back to the malls and arcades, pop in your VHS, and join us where the 80s and 90s return from the dead. Conan, tell them where to find us.
WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury podcast hosted by Midnight Mike and Calvin Brody.
Also available on all major podcast platforms via the Shining Wizards Network, and join in the conversation on Twitter at Midnight Jury.
What's up, wrestling fans? You want something awesome? Check out Wrestling Night in Canada here on the Shining Wizards Network. We're 3 Canadian metalheads uniting for the love of pro wrestling. Every episode, we go over all the latest news and special events with the odd unique interview as well. So grab a cold one and check out Wrestling Night in Canada, eh?
All right, we're back on the Mark Order podcast. We're going to get into Dynamite. We're going to touch on the rankings real quick. Just want to plug, as always, we got some cool... Oh, Kate changed shirts.
I did. Let's talk about our stickers.
We have to talk about the stickers. We have our Mark Order podcast stickers that you can request for free. Just find us on our social channels at Mark Order Pod. And slide up in our DMs with your name and address, and we will get them sent right out. They go out worldwide, so wherever you are, if you want stickers, just let us know, and we'll send them out. Guys, we're almost out of stickers. I have to do a reorder at some point. Maybe, I was saying last week to Ryan, maybe we do a different design. Maybe just a hand logo with the mic. That might be fun. A circle sticker. Yeah, we can figure it out. Maybe we'll thirst trap Kate sticker. Who knows? Kate's gonna have to fund that herself, though. I'm not gonna fund Kate's thirst trap photos.
Well, of anything, that's the ones that other people should be funding. I feel like they're gonna get a ton of traction, and I don't feel like I should have to pay for a sticker of my own self.
I'm not paying.
So for sure. I have a shoot question.
Yeah.
Is there a picture of a gal in a bikini that isn't a thirst trap, or is it a thirst trap by nature of being a girl in a bikini? Because that wasn't intended to be one, but then I looked at it and I was like, well, it kind of is. But I wasn't like, this is a thirst trap. You know what I mean?
You don't have to be, this is a thirst trap. You're showing off them hitters, son.
Here's the thing. If someone took the picture of you and you didn't know, it doesn't classify as a thirst trap. But when you take a selfie of yourself angle down, it's a thirst trap. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's fine. I don't know the rules. I don't do this very often.
I mean, I do it all the time, so I know depending on which angle and what.
I know.
Yeah.
You spend most of your time doing the HBK Playgirl spread.
Learn your rules. You've got to learn your rules.
But I did have a costume change. How astute of you to notice, Ant.
Yeah,
Matthew,
Kate's rocking that.
Take it away.
Kate's rocking that 10-year anniversary shirt, Matt.
I know. I am grateful. I am appreciative of it. I love it. It's fantastic. 10 years in about, I don't know, fucking 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
And if you want yours,
Thank you.
You can
I didn't.
reach out to the
Look,
Shining
you guys
Wizards.
know I'm not great at shilling my shit on this show because this is not about me. I'm just a cog in the wheel here.
I know, but I alley-ooped you, brother. Come on.
Look, I get my balls busted. I'm not here every week. This is not a platform for me to shill the show that I'm on every Monday night. All right. I have to up my attendance here before I can do that. Out of respect to you lovely folks that are here every week.
Fine, we'll shill it. Follow the Shining Wizards. They tell you how to get one. Get a shirt. Their gear is always cool.
Yeah, y'all make money. It usually comes back to benefit us in some way. So
Yes,
we can show for you.
It's very true.
All right, fair enough. Thanks. At Wizards Podcast on all social media platforms. You could PayPal us $20 and we'll send you a nifty shirt, a nifty pen, and a nifty bottle opener in the United States only. If you support us internationally, God bless you. And if you are crazy enough to pay $50 for a fucking t-shirt and some jingle jangles, bring it on over. But until we figure that out, we're just shipping these things in the United States because international shipping is bonkers.
Well, very good plug, Matthew. That's an A+ for tonight.
Thanks. Easy with the full name there, Chief. Come on now.
I just said Matthew.
I know. Don't Matthew. No, Matthew. Wrong button. Whoever hit that.
Me.
My goodness. Well, guys, we haven't had rankings in a few weeks because I feel like they don't do it when the shows are on the weekend. So we can run through the rankings real quick just so we're all on the same page. Matt, the banner says that you're going to wrap the rankings. Now, I did not make the banner, so if that was discussed, you are more than happy to take it away.
No, that's some fake news, my friend.
It's on the
All
banner.
right, that's
you
what
got
I figured.
I see it right in front of me. I feel like Matt should probably wrap the rankings.
I don't even know who's on the fucking rankings. Matt should wrap the rankings.
Well, Ant can put them up, and then we'll tell you, and then you'll know.
Oh, look at fucking producer fucking Schlong over here. You got
Oh.
those. Put them up there, Ant. Let's go.
Well, it's nice for somebody else to be producing the show. I enjoy it. Let's see here.
Oh, are
I
you
didn't
really
have
I'm not rapping. I'm not doing this.
I just want to point out
you
that
just
Ryan
said-
Strong has never wrapped the rankings. Not
Right on
once.
the camera.
Not once has Ryan Strong wrapped the rankings.
That is very
Right.
true.
He steals
Schlong,
my
you haven't rapped.
background. He steals my bangs gimmick. He won't rap.
Stole your name.
Now,
He stole my
are
name.
bangs an exclusive gimmick, Kate?
On this podcast, yes, because you guys are all boys.
What about that
Okay.
little Asian kid? Aren't you stealing his gimmick? She bangs. She bangs. Whoa, whoa, she bangs.
William
Whoa,
Hung?
There you
Ant,
go.
what
William
division do we start with?
Hold on. I'm pulling it up, and you'll see.
I got him up. What division do we
Schlong-
pull?
Schlong's
do we
got.
start
He's
with?
all over it. He's producing like a motherfucker
Hey.
over it.
He's gonna
Everybody
be like-
relaxed. Here we go. Let's do the men first.
We got Kenny Omega, and he's the best. We got Sammy Guevara, and he's the best.
Nailed
we got Adam Page, and he's the best. We got Orange Cassidy, and he's the best. We got John Moxley, and he's the best. We got Miro. Guess what? He's the best. We got number 10, and he's not number 10 because he's number 5 on the rankings, just like Kate would do it.
I would have made one of them like rest, but other than that,
I don't know. I heard best when you rapped just like the entire time.
oh, the springtime thinks that it's the best. Winter
Wow.
season has kind of a strut. Nothing beats the cookie season. That's the truth. That's a
Thank
deep
you,
cut.
Kevin Malone.
for
No,
fans of
no.
The Office. You
I'm
think
with
people
you.
know that one?
You should.
Yes,
You should.
100%.
We
Schlong,
got
how about the ladies?
DMD, champ of Dynamite. We got Take on P, number 1 contender. You got Jade Cargill and Chris Statlander, Thunder Rosa, and Nyla Rose.
This is what we call working yourself into a shoot because now Ryan's going to do it every week.
No, he's not.
Sorry, I'll have to check it with our producer, Ryan Schlong.
God damn. Killing the rap.
It would be nice if Ryan
was-
Schlong was producing.
Ryan does all the banners. He does something.
Here
Which
you
you
go,
guys are not
Schlong
gonna like
tag
tonight.
teams.
Lucha Bros, Mexican. You got FTR and the Elite. Well, Young Bucks. You got Jungle, Jurassic Express, and Private
Oh,
Party,
boy.
and the Acclaimed. Listen, I lost it because that guy was gonna say Lucha Express. I got all over the place.
I think you're tanking so that Matt will
Yeah,
jump back
well-
in.
Jeez, I can't
No,
talk.
I legitimately got confused. I was gonna say Lucha Express, and it lost me
Well,
because I
I
wanted to
guess
do it to
because
the
Schlong's
Lucha Bros theme. Zero.
I guess since Schlong's not going to close it out, FTR,
I
the
did.
Young
I just
Bucks,
sucked.
Jurassic Express.
Oh my
You did
God!
well.
You're killing the gimmick, you guys.
And no, Schlog, you did not even close out. You,
Yes, I did. I finished
You
with the
did.
Acclaimed.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Do better.
that did it. Yeah, you better do better next time.
Be better.
Just be.
I stepped
better.
up. Where were you, Kate?
Making you do it because I didn't want to.
Aaron Cotter wanted me to monster match the rankings. Sorry, I've used that song on my live tweets. I can't reuse them.
You really
Wow, I
could.
bet you it sounds better than whatever bad version of fucking TNT by AC/DC you just did.
Go fuck yourself.
Touche. Please don't
Oh,
talk like
man.
that in front of my Mariano Rivera Black. Respect.
Please respect.
So
the plaque.
those were the rankings. And guys, I have to say something positive about the rankings.
Oh boy, that means this show's getting cut tomorrow. We're getting fucking ROH. Kate's gonna say something good about the rankings. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. That makes something on the show a wrap. You know what I mean? They used the rankings to seed the women's tournament, which makes sense. Like, it makes sense that you had them and that you use them for a tournament like you would in a sport. So that is my positive thing to say about the rankings.
Also, I think the only song I can rap part of is Wild Wild West by Will Smith. Just saying.
No.
I wouldn't
It's
tell
not a
people that.
positive. Yeah.
It's Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. No, you don't want none of this. Six gunning this from the running this. Buffalo Soldier. Look, it's like I told you.
I've created a monster.
What the
I'm
fuck
just-
are you talking about?
This is where I try to keep moving, and then people keep singing and rapping.
Fine, I'll help you out.
Finally, somebody producing. So we open up Dynamite. Our first match. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
No,
Go
Matt,
ahead.
say
What are
Please.
these douchey banners here?
It's
Long pants-
Halloween.
talk
I
to-
got crazy.
Yeah, you got crazy.
Talk
You
to the
called him by
producer.
his birth name, Robert, instead of Bobby. You fucking Dingleberry.
Listen to your hand job.
Good at. I know what I'm good at. I don't know what to tell you.
It's very true.
Well, now we have a name
we-
for the episode. Dingleberry's hand jobs.
Well, that'll
Robert
get some
Fish
hits.
and Long Pants Punk. What an opener.
Yes. I actually I referred to him as CM Pants in the Discord earlier tonight.
Pants. See,
See, it's not just me.
Aunt made a pun.
No, but
Congrats.
I just put CM Pants.
Fancy.
Did
we
Matt
open
just
with
die?
Bobby Fish.
Oh my God, Matt just corpsed because of CM Pants, I think. Or
I
his
killed him.
jack went down the wrong pipe.
It came out my nose.
Wow, I got him with CM Pants. That's all it
CM
takes.
Pants? That's all it takes, my friend.
I think it was the disgust of these terrible puns. Oh, it hurts. It burns.
If you're not watching
Deep
along
burn.
on the StreamYard or the Facebooks, you really ought to be just to see Matt.
So,
Oh my god.
Anthony
water
Monet. Anthony Monet, why don't you tell us about this match? You wanted me to produce. I'm helping out.
Jesus. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm
Just start
I
saying
mean-
like camera one over to camera two.
Just start calling
in on the
out
shot.
Jesus. Schlong's really come into his own over these past couple
Right.
months.
Nelly's asshole. Get the close up. Get the close up on Nelly's asshole. For those
That's
of you
right.
watching for the
Zoom
first
in.
time,
Wrong
this is a
one.
cat.
Come on.
Wrong one.
Boo.
I don't know how to zoom in on a specific one, to be quite honest.
Fired.
You don't. Just don't mess with it.
Kate,
Just,
you could do
just
it.
hit the
had you-
solo layout button.
I did, but it went to Ant. Kate, you could do it, but you don't have the ability to log into StreamYard.
I never said I wanted
How
to be
about-
a producer. I'm just
how
a
about-
talent.
How about we talk about CM Punk and Bobby Fish and not about the inner workings of StreamYard, because nobody gives a fuck about that.
I care.
And well, Kate, you care about CM Punk, so why don't you
do.
talk about this match? We should quickly at least mention that CM Punk did wind up winning this match by pinfall with the go to sleep. My God.
Yeah, this is gonna surprise you guys. I like this CM Punk fella. I think that this match was great. It's he's really good at telling a different story every time, but he is telling the same story about needing to really scratch and claw for these victories that he's getting. Like, CM Punk has made you really feel like he's earning these wins, which is great. Like, it makes you feel invested in every match. This was the same. They kicked the shit out of each other. Like, Bobby Fish and CM Punk just kicked the shit out of each other. But I really like the way that they're building this out with Punk. And I think it's really fun. I think I've said this in past weeks too. Like, the juxtaposition of what he's doing with what like Daniel Bryan's doing, and having them come in at the same time and be on two totally different paths is something that's super fun, because I feel like that could get a little overlappy of like these two guys that were huge fixtures in a previous company about the same age. Like, I think it's really, really fun to watch everybody play to their strengths so much in this company. And this was another nice example of that. Punk was putting over some young kids. He's kind of putting over this young 43-year-old kid and Bobby Fish. But this was nice. This was different. Seidel was very different from what we had seen. So I really liked this as an opener. And it was kind of fun not to have a hot tag opener, but to go here instead. And they just really laid their shit in. A lot of kicks. And I liked that Fish almost kicked out because of the bum knee. I thought that was a really nice touch. Like, I like nuanced storytelling. It's really refreshing. So great stuff. A really strong opener. And I don't know. I'm a Punk mark. It still makes me really excited to see him get back in the ring. Like, it's very, very fun for that it hasn't worn off yet, whatever that magic for me is.
Yeah, I did like this story they told with Punk's knee throughout the match. I thought that was a nice part of kind of the back and forth, especially because like at one point, Punk was going for the go to sleep and the counter was the dragon screw, right? So it's just back to the knee. And I was saying, we were chatting, or I was in the Discord as Dynamite was going on tonight, and I was saying it'll be interesting to see if like whoever goes after Punk next, like, exploits that like weakness that has shown up, like his knee's a problem. So we'll see if that story continues with anybody else. Schlong, what'd you think of the opener?
Love the match. I've always said I like stories told in a match more than I like awesome. I mean, this had awesome moves, but I like stories, and this had a great story of two guys who knew each other. Bobby Fish being a very hard-hitting guy and targeting Punk's knee. Punk sold the knee the entire match, goes up to the top rope for a move, has to jump off with one leg, which I thought you don't see that a lot. You even when guys are feigning a leg injury, they still use both legs to jump. He used both to settle himself, obviously, but only one to jump. I like how it played into the finisher where he hit the go to sleep, but he hit it with the bad knee, so he had to take time to get there. So Bobby Fish almost kicked out. Like, I actually thought he did. I think the timing might have been off, but either way, which not that Bobby Fish need to be protected, but it saves you a story. It actually gives you a character for him because he can claim he was robbed. He can go a bunch of places now with that. But it also was another match with Punk. And I love the story they're telling, which is they actually pointed it out in this match. Commentary did, where it's like you can tell, like, this is Punk's, I forget whatever amount of matches coming back. Very different than Daniel Bryan, who's been wrestling all these years. I like that they're actually pointing that out, that this is the story. He's still finding himself. So at some point, the story is going to be either someone beats him and he comes back a totally different guy because he finally has that loss on comeback, or he gets over the hump of all the ring rust and he becomes a different guy just because he's better again. So either way, they have plenty of places to go. And I really, Bobby Fish was a really good pickup on their part because he's such a good competitor.
Yeah, I think that this was one of the few matches with Punk. Well, I think the only one really where he wasn't kind of utilizing startup talent with the company, but it worked. I liked it. Matt, I know you said you were a little preoccupied during the opener. Did you see enough of this to comment?
I did. I thought, look, Bobby Fish fills a role. He's a name. He has name recognition. He's going to go in there and he's going to work these great matches with the likes of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. And I mean, you guys kind of hit the nail on the head. They told a great story in the ring. And yeah, it was just a great wrestling match. And I think that's something that kind of people maybe look past. They're used to all the bells and whistles and the entertainment that they're not used to seeing a wrestling match. And I thought these guys did a great job of it. So thumbs up all around for Long Pants Punk and Robert Fish.
Kevin says he can't take Bobby Fish seriously until he gets a win against someone other than Anthony Green. I disagree. I mean, he's got enough of a name. He doesn't need that win. He doesn't need wins. He's got a name.
Yeah, but if rankings are a thing, he'll
never be ranked.
I don't know about that. God, like
he'll go on Dark and he'll get his wins on Dark.
Not if Kyle O'Reilly comes over. Like this is the thing. But he, to Kevin's point, like I kind of agree with him, which Kevin and I disagree a lot in a good way, in a healthy way, on wrestling. But I also think you have time with Bobby Fish. Like I don't think he needs to start winning right now necessarily, but yeah, he's a hard hitting jobber right now. Like
he's a hard hitting Matt Sydal. He's gonna get his wins on Dark to keep him as like, hey, I've got wins on my record. But anytime he goes against a name talent, like a real name talent, he's gonna lose. But everyone's gonna be okay with it because he's so established that you're always gonna take him seriously.
I don't know. Not if all the Undisputed Era ends up over there.
You're assuming they'll even tell that story.
You gotta.
Right. I mean, it's all gotta fall the right way.
Oh, come on. Yeah, Adam Cole being trapped between his loves. How much fun is that?
You just put fucking Red Dragon back together and let them wreak havoc in the tag team division.
That's fair.
He's also someone who can turn on at any moment.
You don't have to recreate everything the fucking WWE does.
No, but I think that's so fun with the way the Bucks have been. And then having Undisputed Era, like this divorced parent with Adam Cole in the middle thing feels like a very fun and obvious story. But to Ryan's point, they're very good at just turning up the heat on someone when they want them to be in the spotlight. And Bobby Fish has been there like a month. So, but I agree with him. Some wins would be good. But this was, as far as the match goes, great.
And you also have to look at who they've put Bobby Fish in the ring with. He's there for a reason. He's a ring veteran. He knows what he's doing. With all due respect to Powerhouse Hobbs and any other young guys you're going to put in there with the Punk and the Bryan Danielsons, he knows what he's going to do. He's going to protect these guys and he's going to get a good match out of them. And I think that's what they want to do. And for someone like Punk who has to shake the ring rust, I think it fits. And they put on a great match tonight, so I can't complain about it.
And he looked strong.
He did
in that match. And the fact that he kicked out at 3.1 seconds, that is a story he can tell if he wants to.
I don't have a problem with. I just don't have a problem with the way they're using Bobby Fish right now because I don't think he's got to be in any sort of major picture. He's just a player right now. Get whatever use you need out of him. When you need to put him in any sort of kind of feud or anything, you can turn it on. Somebody else before, this is actually a good point to bring up. Somebody in the Discord before, I don't remember who it was. I think it was Liddy, was saying that, he feels they need to give Punk something of substance, some sort of real feud to get involved with. I don't necessarily disagree with that, But again, I'm sort of in the same boat. I don't think that Punk needs to be in any sort of title chase or, major kind of story at the top of the chain. I think that you just let him do what he's doing right now. And again, when they want to turn on Punk and give him something huge to run on, they'll give it to him. They just don't need it right now. You've got the Hangman story playing out. You've got, the Sami Guevara story with the Inner Circle and, the American Top Team. Where would you want to insert Punk into? You've got MJF and Darby. Where is there to put Punk? You don't need it right now.
You don't need it right now. And I think what you do is you have him rack up a bunch of wins, and then you get your drunk cowboy versus your straight edge guy, and that is your CM Punk heel turn. I don't think he beats Page, but I think that's his first loss, and I think he turns into a nasty son of a bitch. So I'm fine. I would like maybe a little bit of a longer program with someone, but to me, if I'm booking CM Punk, we're clearing this pay-per-view, and then eventually he's working his way to Page, and there's gonna be just a babyface friction there, and then you turn him after that. I think that is so much money, and I think the timing works for a Punk heel turn with that. I think that the shininess is worn off a little bit. You can make him a bad guy and people will buy it for you.
I don't disagree with it. We move on from that match. We get a Malachi Black promo. He's talking about Cody Rhodes and says he made the whole family lose faith in him, splitting the Nightmare family, and made the whole crowd hate him. If you thought this was about pinfalls, think again, because the house always wins. A very quick promo from Malachi. I don't know if anybody wants to mention anything here, but we will talk about Malachi again later.
Just that he's cool as fuck. For someone who talks in riddles a lot, this promo I loved. I was like, what a fucking badass. This wasn't about wins for me. This was about dismantling Cody Rhodes. That's pretty much all he said, and I loved it.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
It was Malachi Black doing cool Malachi Black stuff that gets the fans to love him, even though he's a heel.
There it is.
But what can you do? We move on from this to Bryce Donovan versus MJF. Let me tell you something. It doesn't even get going. MJF wins by pinfall with the Heat Seeker. And then post-match, he grabs the mic, runs down Boston, and says, pinning shoulders on mats and banging rats is what he does best. But he's going to have to skip the rats tonight because he'd rather shove his junk in a blender than go out anywhere near your disgusting fat women. My favorite part of that was when he did an impression of everyone's mother and calls the local accent disgusting. I think he said, hada. That was my favorite part of that. But he also went to run down Darby Allin, saying he made a mistake interrupting him when he was telling everyone he deserves to be the AEW World Champion. And now he's too scared to show up to work. MJF says he'd be scared too, given he just knocked Sting out with his beautiful Dynamite Diamond ring. He doesn't care who leaves with the title after Full Gear. You're looking at the past, present, and the future. Sting's music plays, but MJF falls over laughing at the crowd for falling for the trick. But then the lights go out. And it's a weird remix of MJF's music with a video package of Darby beating up some guy who's dressed up at MJF at some sort of concert. And then back in the arena, Sting is in the ring. I'm sorry. There's somebody in the ring. Does anybody know, or can they tell me who's in the ring?
It's Sting!
That's right. Sting is in the ring. Shawn Spears and Wardlow get beat up with the baseball bat. MJF runs away, but Darby Allin's in the crowd in a trench coat. MJF runs and Darby gets a skateboard with tacks. Wardlow takes the tacks. The accountability buddies get their asses beat down this week. And Darby Allin challenges to MJF to their match at Full Gear. We go to break. Matthew.
Anthony,
You were shaking your head over there.
Yes, I cannot deal with Darby avant-garde because with these fucking dumb fucking videos. I don't know what the fuck that is. I don't know. Was it a concert? I don't know what was going on.
Darby avant-garde.
I can't just be fucking. I don't know. I get it. You're fucking mysterious. You want to try new, fun, entertaining things. You want to show us who you. I just don't give a shit. I don't care. Two things I really liked about this. When they played Sting's theme music and MJF and Sean Spears were having a good laugh, Wardlow was not entertained because he wasn't in on the joke. And you could tell that because he stands his ground at the by the where the ramp, and he's like looking to fucking brawl with Sting, and then MJF's laughing his little balls off, and he looked seriously annoyed. So there's like that little thing where they're planting the seeds there. That was the only thing I liked about this. I don't know why I said there's two things. That was the only thing I liked about this. I mean, MJF can cut a fucking hell of a promo. I can't with this fucking Darby Allin and his fucking feelings and these fucking stupid fucking videos.
Well,
just
Matt,
be a cool fucking skateboarder, dude, man.
But Matt, you know that Darby's an artist. He does doo-doo art.
And until he does doo-doo art on fucking TNT or TBS, I don't care. Right? The weird videos he's setting fucking people on fire. He's dragging them around by a car. He's jumping out of airplanes in a body bag, but then he's okay and he can like what? I don't understand. I don't understand the way you express yourself, Darby.
He's an artiste.
Darby!
Get on your fucking skateboard, Tony Hawk your ass to the ring, hit somebody with that shit, do some cool flips, call it a day with your skull face. Terrible Halloween costume too for him for Halloween. So fucking trench coat. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know what the Inspector Gadget situation was.
That's not who that was. You guys don't know who that was? It was the Invisible Man.
I missed the whole thing. I think I was getting a slice of pizza.
Didn't he have his face wrap too?
I didn't see. I don't know. I did see the trench coat, which I'm with Matt. At the moment I saw the trench coat, I was like the quintessential brown trench coat that you would expect like some private eye to be wearing as he's patrolling the rainy streets of Boston. Was a little odd.
Well, maybe next week we'll just get a video of a skateboard just going down the street, and then he'll just pop off of it and be like, "I'm the Invisible Man."
Yeah, he was the Invisible Man. That was like an old movie. You guys suck.
Job. I know what it was. He's a hand job. Yeah. Right.
This is like the first time Matt's ever like kind of
go to your fucking coffee shop and do your weird fucking flip skate trips outside, you fucking hand job.
So you truly you got avant-garde, Matt, because in a way, because you hated this art so much, it was doo-doo art after all.
I guess so.
He got you. He ribbed you. I don't have a problem with it nearly as much as Matt does. It wasn't my favorite thing, but if they're trying to tell the story of MJF did not get in Darby's head, that came across. It was nice to see MJF go out there and squash someone. I loved commentary saying, "Oh, I guess MJF filled his quarterly obligation to wrestle." That really cracked me up. Another thing that I had in my notes that I forgot to mention was, for some reason, I was laughing hysterically at JR saying "Tope Suicida." I could not stop laughing at JR just saying the phrase "Tope Suicida." It just, my goodness, tears calling from my eyes. I mean, MJF said that they're a town of fans that are losers, and as someone that hates the Red Sox, that was fun to hear. I loved the "I'd rather shove my junk in a blender" line. And I also just appreciated his delivery of being like, "Oh my God, people from Massachusetts are so dumb." Because he sounded like a white girl and it made me laugh. So I thought this was fine. I didn't have the problems with it that Matt did. Wasn't my favorite promo, but also not the worst.
So I guess I'll tell you what I liked.
Oh, please enlighten us, fucking Positive Pete.
You're such a hand job, Matt.
It's about time you figured it out.
Nah, I picked that out pretty early on. No, I actually, Matt. In
Actually,
fairness,
when I poured my vanilla chai tea and I sat down to watch this Darby Allin segment, I was like, "This is very
vanilla chai
sophisticated."
tea.
That actually sounds great. I'm not gonna lie.
It's delicious.
I don't
It is delicious.
I don't understand where that comes in with me.
I don't know. You're gonna fucking pontificate on how amazing his artistic skills are.
What did you just do? You just pontificated on how much you didn't like it. Listen, you Mark, I'm gonna talk.
There you go.
Because the
There it
funny
is.
thing was, I was gonna agree with you and say I don't like the movie shit.
Oh, but now you're gonna disagree with me?
Yeah, now I'm gonna say you're an idiot and say it's amazing.
Well, you're just contradicting yourself, sir.
Yes, I am, but I can do that because I'm Matt.
Oh, please show up dressed as me next week.
I don't have to do much.
You just have to
Just to get
change
a-
your voice. Come
and
on,
get a
you
get a
fucking
wrestling
hand
shirt.
jobs.
Get rid of that fucking nasty
Got
hat.
my pillow buddies and my figures.
Hello.
I'm really worried to say that he's got figures because I'm gonna butcher that word in a bad way. So
You do have to be careful.
yeah. So anyway, I don't like the video. I liked everything after, especially the fact that MJF once again did not take any of the violence from Darby or Sting, and Wardlow got his ass kicked. Because this is leading to the bigger story of Wardlow turning on MJF. And I want that story. Darby and MJF is a match I really want. I'm very excited for it, but I think they have to get away from these weird Darby things, like Matt said, and just have him be more in-ring, more in-arena stuff. And just have him come out, kick your ass, and move on. That's where he's best. Is that good, Matt? Did I pontificate enough?
What?
You fucking hand job.
I hear your voice and it's all like white noise. I'm sorry.
Well, moving on, we get Britt Baker backstage with Tony Schiavone, and Tony informs Britt that she'll be in a trick-or-treat match against Abaddon on Rampage because she walked out on a match against her on the Jericho Cruise. Kate, is there truth to that?
There is truth to that. They did have a rematch the next night, but I was there and it did happen. I can confirm. I'll be your source.
Well, it's going to be a no disqualification match, and if Abaddon wins, she gets a title shot. So that's all that really happened there with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
She called Jamie Hayter and Rebel a bunch of tricks.
Well, they're her tricks, I guess. That's true.
Jamie Hayter in person.
Did you touch her butt?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't harass anybody on the cruise. I didn't even harass Peter Avalon.
Kate, I have to ask for Matt. How about that coolie?
My good. She walked by and I just went. Like she's just the most beautiful person, and like, yeah, no, you gotta see her in person up close. It's worth it, and yeah,
all right,
her butt look good.
Yeah.
But
well,
I
get
just
that match Friday night.
It was like an 80s movie where like everything goes into slow-mo and the wind is blowing in her hair. And it was like she was passing me at an Irish pub on the boat. So it was just very unexpected. You can't have any other reaction. It's ridiculous. She's stunning.
Kate, I actually forgot to ask you. I have to jump back to the cruise real quick. I forgot to ask any awkward moments where you were hit on? Like, were you as much a unicorn as you were in the past?
Always a unicorn, and weird because people like kind of recognized me a couple times, so that was very weird, especially for my friend.
Can reach the sky.
My horn can pierce the sky.
Sorry,
There was one person who recognized me and was very weird, and then there was another person who just was weird by the pool. But other than that, not too bad.
All right, well, that's good to
Yeah,
know.
like looking at you standing up against that sucky thing on the side of the pool. Hey, Kate.
Sucky thing.
You know,
He's talking about the return to the pool, but
yeah, the thing in the pool that sucks.
What sucky thing?
Just fucking standing in front of it. Hi, Kate. Hi, Kate.
I didn't study them long enough to try and learn that. But
What's next?
Oh,
Talk
man.
to us.
We had all ego Ethan Page versus Sami Guevara for the AEW TNT Championship. Sami Guevara wins by pinfall with a jackknife pin to retain the TNT Championship. Post-match, Ethan Page does attack and Scorpio Sky joins in, but the Inner Circle makes the save. The minute of the year get away, and the Inner Circle are basically hanging out with Sami Guevara. Jericho calls Scorpio Sky out, says he respects him for beating him twice, but Sami, since Sami won, it's going to be a 10-man match between Page and Sky and American Top Team in the Inner Circle, and Tony Khan has made it a Minneapolis street fight. Boy, a lot of these towns have street fights. It's awfully scary out there. At full gear, the Inner Circle is going to kick their effing asses. So, Schlong, what do you think of the match and the now Minneapolis street fight for Full Gear? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
so first of all, you're missing the most important part of Jericho's promo, where he pointed out that Ethan Page beats his meat. So, and then
Very
got a
true.
chant
My
of beating your
apology.
meat. So Jericho's still going down that path. It was a really good match. It was actually an awesome match. Sami Guevara is awesome, and that reversal out of that into the Hurricane Rana or Frankensteiner, as it should be called, was awesome. Just everything about him, it's very believable style, and oh fuck, man,
What?
why do you have a belt?
Fucking champ. What do you want? What kind of dumb question is that?
Champ of what?
I've got a belt somewhere behind me too.
No, champ of what? Fucking talk about the match.
Champ of what?
The champ, son.
Champ of what? What?
It's neither the time nor the place, Schlong.
Then why do you have the belt?
Because I'm the champ.
Oh my
Of
goodness.
Please continue to talk about the match, sir. I was invested in your conversation.
So we're talking about titles that matter, like the TNT title, unlike some other titles. So it was an awesome match. I expected nothing less, and I'm not really looking. I mean, I guess the Minneapolis street fight will be fun, so there's that. But I'm okay with this story ending. Catherine,
Kate, your thoughts?
Okay, I tried to have independent thoughts of people that I co-host with, but I do have to say my Tuesday night co-host has pointed out that Jericho has really turned into like dad rock guy, and I don't know if it was just being on the cruise with him for a week, but it is getting a little old to have like this 12-year-old boy humor wrapped up in like a 60-year-old man's body. It's kind of wearing thin. I don't need the masturbation jokes or the weird like who's on top jokes, but I am excited. I was excited for the match. I thought the match was fantastic. I was not surprised. Ethan Page is great. Sami Guevara is great. Their ring styles are similar enough in the right ways and different enough in the right ways that I thought they had really great chemistry. I don't know if I need this 5-on-5 bullshit with these two groups. I kind of just want this whole thing to end. What do you think, Hitman belt holder man?
took his headphones off because he's pissed off that I said
Well,
put that belt away.
No,
What's he pulling out?
I don't think he's.
No, he's
I
going
don't
to
think
get
he's
another
pissed
belt.
off.
Well, no, he's not pissed off,
Yeah,
but he has to
he's
show
got-
off that he has two belts.
He's got that
Yeah.
Shining Wizards belt. He won't mention his t-shirt, but he'll bring his Shining Wizards belt on to the show. He earned
Matt,
it.
what did you think about the match and the Jericho promo?
I thought the match was fantastic. The idea of Tony Nese being shown in the crowd and thinking that him versus Sami Guevara is a match I desperately want to see because I think it would be phenomenal. I'm kind of in the same, like, Street Fight is done to protect the American Top Team guys. It's what they do when they have these non-wrestlers, and when like Sting comes back, they're not going to put him in a wrestling match. He's in a street fight. I'm kind of done with it. I'm done with this match, this feud. Oof, that thing has seen better days, kid. The promo was fine. Just so you know, Kate, you never beat me, so we'll just get that out of the way.
No, but I did beat Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin's not here because he's a fucking loser. Okay. But yeah, I don't. Let Full Gear come and go. I don't see how anyone wins with this American Top Team thing, but let's just get it over with.
Yeah, I am. We'll see what happens with the American Top Team. Asian Joe is actually saying that he's going to use the Minneapolis street fight as his bathroom break at Full Gear. That's a bold statement. Bold statement. Just don't miss the singing intro.
Are the streets of Minneapolis known for their ruckus street fights? Do we have to name them all after a town?
I mean, do you recall what happened last summer? It was riots and everything in Minneapolis. It is a dangerous place, Kate.
All right, fair enough. I also don't understand why we have a reunited Inner Circle when we made such a big deal about the fact that they never disbanded. That's annoying.
I agree. Good point.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I was kind of thinking that tonight. They keep talking about reunited, and in my brain, I'm like, but they never broke up.
Yeah, they made like a huge deal of it.
I mean, it would have been a better story had they said, "Hey guys, we're all doing our own thing. Let's go our separate ways." And then they came back together. Like that obviously would be a different story. But moving on from this, Tony Schiavone is interviewing Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston backstage. Eddie Kingston takes offense to Danielson, saying he doesn't work hard, and talks about how depression turns into anger and he's living his dream, so he's done listening, and then he walks away. And Bryan says that that's the Eddie Kingston he wants to see. There's so many people in the locker room that go through the same thing, people in general going through the same thing, and he's going to go ahead and prove that he's the best. We go to break. Kate, I'd like to get your take on an Eddie Kingston promo because you're an Eddie Kingston mark.
I love this story. Matt's mocking me for those of you listening in podcast form. I don't know why he's being such a little bitch about everything, but no,
I'm Quail Man.
I really love what they've done with Danielson and Kingston. The promo that they had last week where Eddie Kingston is just doing everything in his power not to absolutely murder Bryan Danielson until they get to this match is such a fun story because it's like, it's not him getting ramped up. It's him trying to control himself because he's so pissed off. And then today he comes out and says he takes a Zoloft just so that he cannot murder him, basically. I thought was awesome. And I love Danielson being like, that's the guy I want to see. This is a really great way to have two guys that are faces feel like there's a very real story here that they actually want to kick the shit out of each other. And it doesn't have to be there's a good guy and there's a bad guy. They're just very, very, very different baby faces. So I think this is extremely well done. And I think this is what tournaments should be used for other than crowning a winner, right? To set up stories like this. So I can't wait to see this. I think this is going to be an absolute blast.
And that's a sweet belt.
I mean, everybody had belts out. I felt left out.
Mine's definitely the best.
But it does feel good to hold a strap while you're talking here. Schlong, what did you think of the promo? Anything you want to talk about?
I mean, the promo was awesome. I kind of had to laugh at Eddie Kingston's part. Like, congratulations, you have mental issues. Does that make us equal? Don't think so. Myself, Matt, I beat myself with this every night.
Oh,
you didn't see You never saw Boardwalk Empire?
No.
Didn't he beat himself? Didn't the guy Michael Shannon beat himself with a belt?
I don't know because I never saw it. Okay.
Okay,
Wrong
anyway.
audience.
Well, if you're into beating yourself with a belt, follow Ryan Schlong on Twitter at
the
Mark
Mark
Order
Order Pod.
Pod. Please send all your weird DMs to him. He's the only one.
And I'll pass them
No,
on to
don't.
Kate because she loves them.
No,
But
send-
anyway,
I love the notifications. I get to see the weirdness, the one-sided conversations that Ryan has in the DMs.
Oh yeah.
I don't have many.
There's enough for me to enjoy myself.
I'm a weird dude. Roll with it. But like I don't know. The Zoloft line just made me laugh more than it made me do anything. Like, okay, congrats. It didn't come off the same way to me as it did to others, I guess.
Well, I think he was
Matt,
to me that read as like, I have to do all of these things to not murder you. Like that's what I loved about it. I thought it was just like
But
these are the steps I have to go to take care of my mental health, to not kill you right now, so that I can basically kill you later.
But
I
is
think
Zoloft an anti-murder drug? I don't think it is.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was on it.
Yes. Mike Tyson takes the Zoloft to keep from killing y'all.
I thought Zoloft was for like depression and stuff.
yeah.
Well,
Sometimes depression rears its ugly head, and I don't know if Mike Tyson is the advocate for that we need.
I don't know where my doctor hat is, but if it keeps Mike Tyson from killing y'all, then I'd say it's a murder drug. Anti-murder.
Fair enough.
Raping.
Fair
true.
enough.
Matt, I wanted your take because you're somebody
MD
who
doctor. I'm sorry. I'm somebody who
I was gonna say, as somebody who often has to try to keep themselves from killing others, what did you think about this promo?
This is fantastic stuff from both guys. This is going to be a great match. And I like how Brian Danielson is going to take some time to adjust to. So relax over there. You fucking dorks out there listening to this. Brian Danielson, the American Dragon. I like how he brings up how Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston are two toughest men, because I think you're going to see Jon Moxley and Brian Danielson in the finals of this tournament. So I like how he's kind of planting seeds for that as he's preparing to go to war with Eddie Kingston. So
I
like
see what you're saying, Matt.
Man, puns and watching hockey.
Just gotta.
I turned off the hockey.
Why are they
It's
losing?
distracting.
All
No,
right,
it's
Kevin.
distracting.
It's gonna go through the puns. Just plow through them.
My goodness. So we did find out tonight that the Lucha Brothers are putting their AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line against Full Gear, or against FTR at Full Gear. My apologies. So they cut a quick promo about that. I don't think there's too much to get into there. And then we get into our TBS Championship first round match of the night. Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida.
Hey, Ant, shut the fuck up. Shida is on.
Oh no. Actually,
we know you're
most of the time
a huge Shida fan.
when Shida's most of the time when Shida is on, I'm not even watching. I'm doing something else.
Who here has a Shida t-shirt?
Can we go back to this t-shirt? How come Joe Evans didn't buy anyone else a t-shirt?
Because no one else has promised to wear it like Ant has.
Are you fucking kidding me, Joe?
I appreciate it. Look, I'm wearing a...
Are you fucking kidding me, Joe?
And it looks
Will you wear
looks
Marco?
good on
Will you
me.
wear a Marco Stun shirt if I get you one?
If you buy me a Marco Stun shirt, 100% I'll wear it.
Unaltered?
Yeah, unaltered. What do you mean unaltered? What am I gonna do to it?
Like I don't know. Like dye.
No, I take it off, wipe my ass with it in the middle.
That's altering it, by the way.
Yeah, in the middle, I'll wear it and then I'll take it off at some point.
Well, before I was so rudely interrupted.
I'm sorry.
Serena
I want
Deeb,
a fucking t-shirt. Can I get a t-shirt?
Listen,
Asian Joe, I'm married to an Asian woman. Eskimo brothers, dude.
That's not how that works.
Well, I mean, we don't know that it's not.
You don't know that.
True.
But, everyone's related, but through someone.
That's not what an Eskimo brother.
I
is,
know
though.
what an Eskimo brother is, Ryan Schlong.
Hey, podcast dad, Ant, what did you think about this match?
So first of all, we should say that Shida won by pinfall.
Did you get in trouble?
Post match.
Yeah. Breaking news. My wife is American. But she's eating candy corn, which is neither candy nor corn. So I don't know.
Ugh. And it's
Am I
terrible.
no, drunk? She's just shaking her head. She's going back downstairs. The bag of candy corn.
It's a smart
That's the
move.
appropriate
Oh no,
response.
she's coming this way. Oh boy. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought that was breaking news. Please, she's gonna hit me.
So post-match, Deeb grabs a chair and she starts hammering Sheeta with it on Sheeta's knee that was injured during the match. Deeb puts the Serenity lock on, and referees start to swarm the ring. Jerry Lynn comes down to join in, and Deeb finally lets go. I'm sorry, Ree, that's disgusting.
She was just holding up candy corn, by the way. Oh, I should have said she was doing something real gross so people would tune in.
You're disgusting.
Oh, Rhiannon with a sick burn.
If being
Huge pop.
disgusting means that I hate candy corn, then yes, I'm disgusting.
That I don't want to be right.
What?
Yeah.
I know.
I know she can't hear me. This is terrible radio. This is terrible radio.
Well, that's why you shouldn't be listening to it on the radio. You should be watching on YouTube and Facebook.
Well, very true. So, so even though Deeb loses, Sheeta gets her 50th win. In my opinion, the wrong woman moved on in this tournament. And Deeb looked great tonight in her pink and blacks, paying homage to Bret Hart. She even put the figure 4 on Sheeta around the ring post, which was pretty awesome. Deeb looked really good tonight. You know, I guess Sheeta did too, but I really feel like Deeb should have gone over and moved on in this tournament, but it is what it is. So I don't know. Kate, you want to go first? Matt, you want to go first? Nobody's raising their hand. Matt raised his hand.
I'm not a huge fan of Sheeta. I think that the booking committee did her a huge disservice when she was the women's champion. With that being said, this was a very enjoyable match. I thought they looked great. I thought they worked really well together. The 50 win thing is one of the dumbest things in wrestling with the fucking stupid trophy. I love the post-match stuff. I knew Sheeta was going to win. But the post-match shenanigans kind of make you think, like, did Serena Deeb do enough damage where maybe Sheeta can't move on in this tournament? Maybe she misses her shot and maybe we get an alternate. I don't know if there's alternates in the tournament. Most tournaments do have an alternate person who can fill in. And then you have a built-in storyline there where maybe that alternate goes on to become the TNT champion and Sheeta wants to wrestle her. Deeb feels like she's deserved that spot, so she wants to wrestle the TNT champion or this alternate, or the Sheeta Deeb thing can continue. Continue.
Continue.
I don't know. I liked it, and as much as I don't like Sheeta, I thought it was a well-told story, and the post-match stuff is very intriguing because this, of course, sets up another fucking Sheeta Nyla Rose match, which I'm good with never seeing another one of those again. So I'm hoping she can't compete, and that starts like a little blood feud with Serena Deeb.
So I feel like, and just to your point, and then we'll move on, Matt, about kind of the way this could go with the post-match stuff. I thought about this happening two ways. Either Deeb was doing it in hopes that Sheeta can't move on, and Deeb by default gets to take that spot. That's one way. Or the fact that Sheeta now has to fight through this injury through the whole tournament and will win despite having her injury, which is my fear in the way this goes. And then you can blow my fucking brains out. Kate, what'd you think of this?
I think this might be the first time ever I've had something positive to say about women's wrestling on the show and the rankings in the same episode. First of all, it wasn't in the 9:20 death slot. This was a little bit earlier, and not going away to commercial break, I think actually really fucking helped because I thought this match was great and it moved fast. There was a lot of momentum. The straightjacket German suplex from Sheeta I thought was awesome. The spot that Ant alluded to with the half crab into the inverted figure 4 was great. And I would have liked if you're gonna do this 50th wing thing, which I think is kind of lame, I would have preferred the story of Sheeta just getting really fucking frustrated that she can't get this win and Serena Deeb just being in her way of that win constantly. I think that could have been really, really fun of just like, she's just this, Serena Deeb is this constant roadblock to Sheeta getting that victory. But I don't mind this. And I think there's a third option that Ant didn't explore, which is something that AEW does a lot in protecting people, which is that Sheeta, because she's that baby face, she's going to go out there and she's going to try, but she's just too mangled and ends up losing. So that's kind of a good way to navigate that to me, is that I would rather see Serena Deeb go over here. Does it make sense to have the former champion, the longest reigning champion in AEW, go over? Yes, it does from a wrestling perspective. But I think this post-match beatdown, it's just storytelling, which we haven't really had, and we're actually curious about something in this fucking division. And B, I think there's a lot there. I love the idea, and I had that same thought of Serena just assuming she would be the alternate. I think that's great and a good cocky heel thing to do. But I think Sheeta is just too beat down to overcome Nyla. And I loved this match. I say let Serena and Sheeta fight for as long as you want them to. Have them be your HBK, Triple H, and have this thing go on for their entire careers where they're at each other. So I really had a lot of positive things to say about the way that this was executed, and it's nice to have intrigue in what the story is going to be. So I thought it slapped. I was really happy to be excited about women's wrestling on my television today.
By the way, Kate, just so you know, Schlong and I did talk about the fact that they used the rankings for the women's tournament and we actually liked it. So we're pretty progressive, just so you know.
Wow, look at you guys.
So progressive. Believe women can, have a job and everything.
Oh my gosh.
No, I really like this match too. I actually think what they didn't want Deeb versus Nyla. I think they were trying to avoid that because they're not trying to kill whatever they're doing with Deeb, and Nyla doesn't really, if she takes this loss, what are you really doing with Nyla? So now I think you put Sheeta in the match, but she can't compete. Like she's wrestling, but she can't compete and just gets dominated. She then is pissed off at Deeb. Nyla gets an easy win. It doesn't hurt Sheeta because she got hurt in a cheap shot after the match, and her and Deeb can continue their thing afterwards, and Nyla moves on. So I don't think you're going to see Sheeta go through the tournament with a bad knee. I think this is a way to get her out without really hurting her. That's where I think they're going with this. Otherwise, the match was awesome. Love the Bret Hart stuff. Deeb is really coming to her own with this character over what they were trying before. Like this, I'm the best fucking technical wrestler in this company. I am mean. I am vicious. This is what they needed. Really looking forward to.
She's great.
Yeah, really looking forward to see where they go with her.
I just, I don't know. I feel like if you want Nyla to move on, wouldn't it have been stronger to have her beat Deeb, who's a tougher wrestler, win in that big spot, rather than injure Sheeta and then lose in the next round or something like that.
Deeb losing to Sheeta, they can kind of get away with it because Deeb just beat Sheeta. So like they're 1-1. If you have Deeb then go and lose to Nyla, then what are you doing with, like, I think they feel like it hurt Sheeta then because then she just lost 2 matches in a row, and you've hurt Deeb because she just lost to Nyla, so she didn't really get to go anywhere. This way you've kept the feud alive and you don't hurt anyone.
And I know we're not the biggest Sheeta fans on here, but there were a lot of people complaining that she just fell off the face of the earth. So if they actually are listening to us, that makes sense. Like that you should have the champion who everybody's complaining isn't on your TV all of a sudden. Like as soon as she drops, start to get some more screen time. Like that makes sense. So it's not my choice of booking, but I think it's a sound choice in booking.
It just doesn't solve the Nyla problem for me, right? Because Nyla doesn't win in a big spot, right? And they're trying to say she's the monster of the division, right? And now
but what if we have her versus
Sheeta,
Jade? Yeah, I think
she won't win.
Nyla and Jade.
But
Yeah,
but
they're not going to put it to Nyla.
But I think their view is there's a difference between. I'm not saying I agree, but I think their view is there's a difference between her losing in her first match in this tournament because she had a bye, and her losing in the championship title match or something, or at least getting a win. I think they want to give her a win.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens next week. It's just, to me, it just doesn't ultimately solve that Nyla problem. And at least if she had lost again this week, I think it can still keep a feud going, right? Because it's like, you've lost to me twice. You're not as good as me. And then she could still come and win a third match and, prove that she's just as good as Deeb. But either way, she'll move on. We'll see what happens in the Nyla match in the next round. After this, we get Jon Moxley versus number 10, Preston Vance.
Wasn't there a promo in between?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. My apologies. There was
Producer Ryan.
No, I just looked right over my notes here. Dante Martin and Lio Rush are interviewed backstage, and we find out that actually Mike Sydal is injured, so we will not be getting the Lio Rush and Dante Martin tag match against the Sydal brothers. We're instead going to get Dante Martin with Lio Rush in his corner versus Matt Sydal, and Lio basically says that Sydal's going to learn a lesson on Friday because Dante Martin's going to have a real person in his corner, not some washed up wrestler. I don't know. For me, I'm just disappointed that we're not going to see Lio Rush on TV again for another week. Schlong, we saw him in Philly and New Japan. He looks great in the ring. I'm not sure if a lot of AEW fans know about what Lio Rush can do in the ring. I mean, I'm sure there are a good amount. We did see him once in that I don't remember if it was a battle royal or a ladder match, but he looked pretty good there. And then he retired and now he's back. So it just sucks. I would have loved to see a tag match with the two of them, but I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to mention about this, or we can keep going.
I just actually really like what Lio Rush is doing. Like, I like this ethical, logical manager. Like, it's something we don't see.
Is he ethical? But is he?
Well, that's where we're gonna go. But I like this out the gate. Like, okay, you want me to earn you a match with CM Punk? I'll earn you a match with CM Punk. Like, I don't know. It just sounds. It's all very accessible, and I like it. And I think Lio Rush is fantastic in the ring. So we'll get there. I'm know you guys are kind of sick of the back and forth with his retiring and felt a little burnt out on him because he was one of those guys that was everywhere for a while. But I really like Lio Rush. I'm very excited about this.
Moving on, we get Jon Moxley. Now we get Jon Moxley versus Preston Vance for the AEW World Championship #1 Contenders Tournament first round match. It's pretty quick and stiff match, but Moxley wins by pinfall with the paradigm shift. There's a point in this match where 10 gets split open pretty badly on his forehead. And there was an awful stiff fucking clothesline for Moxley on 10 there. I don't know about you guys. I was sitting there watching with Mrs. Money, and I said, I'm pretty sure that's the outcome, right? Like, Moxley was going to win this match, but maybe they cut to the end a little quick because that looked like a pretty mean gash on 10's forehead. Also of note is entering the ring, Moxley through the crowd tonight. Moxley had to pretty forcibly move a fan who was in front of the barricade and did not want to move. And then on his way out through the crowd, also had to kind of shove a fan out of the way because they were just right in the middle of his way. So I don't know. Match was okay, in my opinion. Schlong, what'd you think here?
Very violent, but I like what they're doing with Mox. I like the explanation, which is I have to hurt you so that I can go home healthy, and I have to hurt you quick. So I think this is a very nice spin on Mox, and I'm loving the way they're doing it. Now next week he's going against Orange Cassidy, so that'll be interesting. How dare you? You're just so rude.
That'll be interesting.
Orange Cassidy's winning the whole thing. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Go
The
buy
whole
some more
thing.
fucking ayahuasca from those people in the Bahamas. Orange Cassidy's winning the whole thing. What
Why
is
are
wrong
you
with you?
so angry?
No one's angry. It's going to be
Who hurt
Bryan
you?
Danielson and fucking John Moxley, and John Moxley's
Who?
going full heel.
He needs
hurt
some
you,
of
Matt?
Eddie Kingston Zoloft.
No one hurt me.
I think someone hurt you.
No.
I don't know. There's a lot of anger in you.
DDP. DDP hurt him. That's why
No.
he threw
I
his
got-
heart rate monitor.
I get back on the DDP.
Oh, me too. I liked this match. It was real violent. I reluctantly agree with Matt's tournament prediction. I think that's going to be your finals, and I think it'll be awesome. It's nice to see Moxley fight people other than all of Japan. I think it's nice to have fighting guys on the AEW roster again. So this was good. I definitely feel like they went home a little early, but yeah, good enough for me.
Matt, anything you want to add here?
No, I said my piece. Orange Cassidy sucks. Tell a friend.
That's your thoughts on
All
this
right.
match.
I said my
Such
piece.
an
Moxley
angry
is going
man.
to destroy fucking Pockets or whatever dumb nickname you fucking marks have for him. He's gonna beat him up real good, make him bleed, and then he's gonna go on to face Bryan Danielson in the finals, and it's gonna be like a fucking war, and it's gonna be Moxley's heel turn.
I would argue, Matt, you are the biggest mark of them all.
Yeah, what's your point?
No point. Just wanted it out there.
Oh, okay, there's no argument then.
You know, you called me
Well,
a mark. I called you back.
moving-
We're going back and forth.
Well, guys, moving on.
Yes,
We get
do it.
FTR interviewed backstage, and they talk about waiting a year to get their tag titles back, but they're coming for them, and they're going to go down as the best tag team of all time. That's pretty much it. So we know we're getting this match at Full Gear. Clearly, the Lucha Brothers want to give a little retribution because they lost their AAA belts. Does anybody really think that they're going to drop these AEW tag titles at Full Gear to FTR?
Yes.
Really, Matt? You see
Yes.
the title drop that quickly for them?
Yeah, because then you can put FTR in Mexico and have them drop the titles back to the Lucha Brothers.
Really? I mean, it would make sense. I just don't understand why they'd have to take the AAA titles off of the Lucha Brothers just to swap belts like that.
I guess you get FTR down to Mexico, and then you could have them win it back in front of a whole crowd.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Schlong, you agree with that?
I don't know, but I see Matt's logic. We were talking about it on Saturday. FTR in Mexico just seems like a win because they're going to be so hated as the anti-luchador heels coming in. I how doesn't that work? So I'd be shocked that they don't go down that path. So if you're going to make it title versus title, they almost have to win.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I mean, this wasn't stated as being a title versus title.
Well, that's
right. So, if they drop, they're just going to drop those belts.
That's true. If it's
but-
not title versus
Yeah,
title,
I
then I
could-
could see them losing.
Yeah, I mean, it can go either way, but it should be a banger of a match. And probably a longer program than they had on Dynamite for those AAA titles. We go to commercial and come back with Cody Rhodes on the mic standing in the ring with Arn Anderson. The crowd's booing him, and he says, believe it or not, he hears us online and offline. And for a brief moment, when he had Malachi Black's arms hooked in for the Tiger Driver, he thought about hitting a very different move. And what would have happened if he hit that move? Well, he said he, would he have sneered and broken the covenant to not challenge for the world title? If you're going to boo the narrative, boo the narrative. Don't forget the man that built this company and takes his shoes off and throws them into the crowd, asking the people to put their feet in his shoes for once. He talks about family, says it's easy. It's the easy way out is not the way out. And he will not turn. He apologizes for everybody, to everyone, and says it's an honor to stand in the ring with Arn Anderson. He apologizes to the Nightmare family, shakes Arn's hands, and that's when Andrade makes his entrance, telling Cody that the people don't like either of them, Arn or Cody, and the difference is that he doesn't care. Or I'm sorry, Cody and Andrade, not Arn. And the difference is that Andrade doesn't care about the people. He calls Cody's neck tattoo stupid and says he's getting into his business, and that he can make him Andrade can make Cody his little bitch. The lights then go out, and then Malachi Black is in the ring when they return. Black missed in the face of Cody, and both Malachi and Andrade start to beat down Cody and Arn Anderson, and that's when Pac comes down to make the save. He lays out Andrade with his kick combo. The heels retreat, and then Pac does the backflip off the rope, drops down cross-legged, and flips the bird at both Andrade and Malachi Black. So clearly, this issue's not over. The biggest thing here tonight is basically Cody saying, hey, I'm a good guy. They're trying to establish him again as a babyface. He's not turning. I think it's a little bit of a swerve. I think they need to turn him heel. But Matt, I'd like to go to you first, because Schlong and I talked about it a little bit on Saturday night. What do you think about all this stuff with Cody? Like, what do you think in particular about, I guess, this segment, but also, do you think that they just have to make the decision to turn him at some point here?
Do they have to?
I mean, he's getting very loudly negative reactions from the crowd, and he's clearly in the babyface position. So it's not working.
He's getting a reaction. It's working. It's not the reaction you want.
Right.
So he may not turn heel, but he will be viewed as a heel character. I think he's a polarizing figure where he does not have to change his character. He's going to come out and continue to present himself as a babyface, and he's going to continuously be booed.
Happened to John Cena for like a decade. People booed John Cena all the time, and then other times they cheered him, sometimes in the same night. I think he is going to turn hard eventually. He loves fucking with people in interviews, saying he's not going to do something and then doing it. Like, he's going to turn, in my opinion, just not yet. And I think it's building a story of he's going to snap. I think he's going to be like, what the fuck do you people want from me? I've given you everything I could. I think he's going to lose his mind. And I think that's going to be real fun when it happens. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just has to... I think he has to pick the spot where he turns, and where is that? Is it in some kind of weird, he's teaming with the world champion Hangman Adam Page in a year, and he just fucking turns on him then? Is it some like real fucking feel good moment, and he just does like the most dastardly shit that you can't believe you're seeing? It's gonna be, he's not just gonna fucking deck Arn next week and be like, I'm a bad guy now. If he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it to fucking, like, you're gonna remember it for the rest of your life, like when fucking Roddy Piper put his hands on Cyndi Lauper.
I have a theory that he retires Dustin, and that's that. We reignite the feud that was like one of the most iconic early feuds to happen, and he sends Dustin out in a really terrible, bloody, evil way. That's my theory.
Away from the Cody promo, the thing that I like the most out of this, and it's one of the things that I think AEW is really good at. I desperately now want to see Pac and Malachi Black have a singles match and a feud that they could wrestle a million fucking times in the next 6 months, and I would be over the moon about it.
They're gonna kick the shit out of each other.
Yeah. The way that they're kind of pulling off this switch in feuds is pretty impressive, right? Like, now we're automatically on to Cody and Andrade, and we're automatically almost into Malachi and Pac. And it came so quickly just from one appearance on the ramp by like Arn Anderson, right? it's pretty impressive how quickly people are invested into these kind of swap storylines. But Shalong, did you want to say anything about the promos or the beatdown afterwards?
I'm gonna talk what Joe said. He thinks what he took away from the promo was that he will turn eventually, and I'm kind of on that. I kind of am taking a stance of between Matt and Kate of where I think he's gonna play up this I'm a good guy while he continues to get booed, but be less and less of a good guy. But he's gonna think he is, and then eventually at one point just snap completely and do something insane. Everything after was awesome. I like that Andrade's getting put into more storylines, not just with Pac this time. Now he's with Malachi. He's with Cody. Like there's a whole thing there. You don't get forgotten if you're with Cody. He keeps you around. Pac being back around is awesome. I feel like that's a guy who, be it injury or travel restrictions, has been snake bitten his entire run at AEW. He can't be there half the time. So I'm very excited for wherever they go with this.
What if he beats up Fuego? He is the son of Fuego, isn't he? Or whatever dumb shit he's doing now.
I don't know. There is a son of Fuego on Too Fast, Too Fuego, but I don't know why you would compare the two.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Don't worry. We've got some news.
Oh, please. Yes, I can't wait.
Are we overthinking this and Cody just joins the Elite as his heel turn? Why not? Why not reform the Elite?
I don't think they want to have everything be in the Elite's basket. I think they like having things outside of it, and he has managed to keep all his stuff away from there.
So I don't know. With Adam Cole being there, that feels like a moment that could happen. Just saying.
I mean, it could happen. I'm with Shlong that they've kind of, strayed away from that. And for a long time, Cody has kind of been out of the Elite. It's pretty much been since the start of the pandemic. Asian Joe, by the way, saying Cody's turn seems similar to how Anakin turns to the dark side. He does what he thinks is right and then kills kids. So Cody will probably take out -1.
And his
don't
own
disagree
child.
with you there.
And his own kid.
Eventually.
Murdered his own kid.
He beats up a kid. He's a goddamn heel.
Oh.
Jim Cornette's here.
Motherfucker. Beat up a kid. Kick him in his little tiny head.
I'm sorry, Jim Cornette.
Don't be sorry. There's not a book to territory, you motherfucker. Get him in the building. Beat up a kid.
Extra violent.
Take him in the ring and knock his ice cream cone out of his hand.
God damn.
Double cones?
Double ice cream, motherfucker.
Double scoops, double cones.
Double sprinkles.
My wife's gonna come upstairs. She's gonna shut the fuck up with that dumb voice.
That why you're whispering it?
Well,
kind of.
Well, guys, we are into our main event here for the night. It was the Dark Order versus the Elite in a 8-man tag match. There was a Halloween theme to this, right? Everybody came out in costumes. The Dark Order had various costumes. John Silver was Bambi, as he promised to be. Colt Cabana was Brandon Cutler. Evil Uno was a cowboy. They thought maybe he could have also been Hangman Adam Page. And Stu Grayson was Kratos from God of War. And the Elite were in perhaps the most perfect Halloween costumes you could have. They were the Ghostbusters with full proton packs. It was perfect. And it was also a nice callback to being the Elite.
Were your shorts shorts full of slime?
No, I did not have any ectoplasm in my living room.
You know, slime yourself?
No, I did not get slimed.
Hey, when was the last time you had an ecto cooler?
So good.
Not since the last time they released it. I think in 2016 when the reboot came out, they re-released it in cans. I actually still have a can, I think, downstairs.
I'll give you $5 to drink that.
It's like not even in the fridge. It's just warm sitting in the closet.
All right, $6.
Oh, okay. Sold.
Okay. $3.
$4 and this blue highlighter.
He
That
doesn't know
is
how to
that
negotiate.
is the deal. I will say when they came out dressed as in their Ghostbuster gear, I said out loud to nobody, "I'm so happy for Ant." Out loud.
I got a lot of
The words came out
messages
of
in
my
the
mouth.
Discord. Yes. But it also should be noted that with the Elite, they did have Nakazawa came out as a giant baby in his inflatable baby costume.
As a baby.
My apologies, a baby. And there was also a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. We'll talk about that. So as the match goes on, we'll cut to the finish here. The Dark Order does wind up winning by pinfall. John Silver gets the pin on Matt Jackson. But there are some shenanigans towards the end of this match. Rick Knox, of course, the referee for this clusterfuck of an 8-man tag match, gets knocked out. And everybody's in the ring, milling about. The Dark Order, when they came out earlier, had a horse with them, and the front of the horse is now running to the ring, to which the Elite decide to super kick and do their thing too, and they pull the head off, and it winds up being Brandon Cutler, and everybody's a little surprised and confused because they thought Brandon Cutler was in the Stay Puft costume. But wait, it winds up that Hangman Adam Page was actually in the Stay Puft costume. So Hangman Adam Page gets a little bit of action in on the Bucks and Kenny Omega, and basically we are off now to Full Gear to get this Hangman Adam Page match going against Kenny Omega, and the good guys celebrate in the ring afterwards. Schlong, what'd you think of the match? Did you enjoy the Halloween theme, or did you feel like this was a little corny?
No, I loved it. I mean, it's better than the typical Halloween stuff you see in wrestling, where it's all weird props. This time it was just guys dressing up, having fun.
You didn't want 6 spin the wheel, make the deal matches?
I didn't want like a Halloween trick or treat match where they throw pumpkins or at each other or something. I was a little sad when they busted up their proton packs. It was a really good match. I thought so. There was a discussion online. I thought Hangman was in the horse. Joel from Fightful thought he was in Stay Puft. Joel was right. However, the horse did come into play because that's where Brandon Cutler was. So I wasn't wrong in thinking the horse had a role. That the image of Hangman in the Stay Puft thing with the angry face is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then after the match, when he couldn't get out of the Stay Puft costume and it was around his feet, was cracking me up. But I loved it. I mean, this is a good wrestling. It's carrying on the feuds. There was a reason Matt Jackson was the one in the ring, because he's the one Hangman has been having the most problems with. Like, there's a whole story there. And Dark Order gets their win. This was the win they would have got in I guess in August, before Hangman went away. It worked here. I'm okay with it. It felt good to see them win, and with John Silver and his little Bambi nose.
Yeah, I love Silver getting the pin here. I thought this was so stupid and fun and wonderful. When Ant said, "Did you like this, or is it corny?" The answer is yes. The answer is yes to both. I love it so much.
That picture.
Adam Page must have just, when he saw what his role in the show was tonight, must have just been so excited. Come on. How fun is that? This beats the shit out of like, hey, there's candy on the table and I'm going to put you through a table, dumb stuff that we've seen in the past. Better than a coal miner's glove match for sure. Like, this was a blast. It's a fun way to close out the night. The people that were at the show live have just been tweeting about what a riot it was to see this all unfold. And it's fun because this has been such a real story, and it's gone on so long that to throw the silly basketball stuff in it and then one of these in it is so much fun to me. So I love it.
Hey, Kate,
what a blast.
What's it all about?
What?
You don't know what it's all about? Budge.
Budge. Fair enough.
So I just love that he got that over.
It's great. It's amazing. It's all about the Budge.
Budge.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's such a blast. What a fun way to close the show. Why not? Send him home happy.
Matt, Halloween tag match.
Fantastic. I'm sure the commentators hated that. Everyone in the Super Click, Super Elite, all had long, wet brown hair and were wearing Ghostbuster outfits. As I'm pretty sure Excalibur called everybody by the wrong name at least once because you couldn't tell who anybody was. But the match was a lot of fun. I loved the stuff with Hangman being in the Stay Puft outfit and the stuff with Cutler. It's just a fun, good story. And obviously it's all going to get us to Full Gear. So, and it gets the Dark Order their win back. So it was fun. It was a good ending to a good show.
Yeah, I thought overall this was a pretty fun episode of Dynamite. Asian Joe saying, I'll give $5 and take the Sheeta shirt back if Ant drinks the Ecto Cooler. I guess I'll be keeping the Sheeta shirt because I'm not drinking that Ecto Cooler.
Are you
I'm
not drinking it
It's
because you don't want to drink it or because you know it's going to be gross?
I just don't want to drink it. It's a sealed can.
Right.
Fair enough.
It's in my closet. It's part of the collection.
All right.
I was with Shalong though. I felt a little betrayed, the disrespect they gave the Proton packs by just destroying them with Colt Cabana getting powerbombed on them. That also had to hurt Kate.
Of course it did. Of course it did. I also appreciated how much JR hated this match. Did anybody else notice that in commentary?
Yes.
Like, protein packs. Like he was
goddamn sunscreen. Don't even put that on either, son of a bitch.
Tope Suicida.
It's a tope.
Oh man. He hated
so
this.
guys, we know that on Rampage, I didn't get the full match rundown for next week's Dynamite, but I know on Rampage this week, we're going to at least get the World Title Eliminator Tournament match versus Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston, and we will get Matt Sydal versus Dante Martin with Leo Rush in his corner. So it looks like Friday night could be lining up to... Oh, and we're also getting Abaddon and Britt Baker. My apologies. In that trick or treat, no disqualification match. So should be a pretty fun show on Friday. And just a couple little pieces of news that came out. We already talked about the Ring of Honor stuff, but it looks like TNT's coverage of the NHL is not going to bump Dynamite to Saturday. As far as we know for the rest of the show's time on TNT. It still has games to air on Wednesdays, but those are going to affect when Dynamite airs everywhere, but on the West Coast. So we don't have to worry about it. Looks like right now we don't have to worry about any more Saturday night Dynamites for the remainder of the year on TNT, which is a nice thing. So guys, we kind of touched on it before. If you watched Dark this week, you would have seen Fuego del Sol bring in his partner, Fuego 2, Son of Fuego, in a tag match. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but he did look awfully familiar. He had a build, like his body looked very familiar. He had piercing blue eyes. He looked like he had some sort of marks on the side of his neck, but I couldn't really tell. But it was an interesting new tag team partner. He's quite a bit bigger than Fuego. I know that much.
I think he looked like a Papa Fuego.
Well, if I had to pick one Fuego to live and one to die, I would keep Fuego 2, and I would send off Fuego to the murder factory.
Well, you'd be wrong, but that's okay.
There's a murder factory?
It's called the Killbot Factory, otherwise known as the Army. Yes, that's a Simpsons quote, Kate, so you won't get it.
I figured.
I think this is hilarious. It's a gag on Sammy's vlog. Fans love it. It's harmless. It's a lot of fun.
Cody also keeps burying it online, which is super fun. Cody's like, what the fuck is this stuff? I hate it. Like, that's just fun. It's all good fun.
Except for Matt hates
Matt,
it.
Did you like Fuego too?
He doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Do you know
What it do?
Go on.
What,
Matthew.
this trash?
He's got it.
Looking like his Papa Fuego.
This is fucking garbage.
Oh,
This is
stop.
Notice how
Did you name
Eddie
it
and
trash?
Ray.
Did you name it trash?
Yes.
He named, for those of you listening in podcast form, Matt pulled up a picture of Fuego 2. Definitely not Cody
Son of
Rhodes.
Fuego.
And the name of the image is just trash.jpg.
Trash. Absolute garbage.
This is gonna turn into Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio fighting over him. That's what this is gonna be. Fighting over his son. I like it. I'm in.
No, Matt doesn't hate fun. Matt hates stupid shit.
Matt hates fun.
It's not even good enough to be on the main shows.
It's very true. I'm with you there, Matt. But if I did have to pick a Fuego to keep, it would be Fuego 2. I can tell you that.
If we don't have enough fucking Cody Rhodes, do I have to collect a fucking Cody Rhodes Fuego?
Why do you keep bringing up Cody Rhodes? Why do you keep bringing up Cody Rhodes? That's Fuego 2, Son of Fuego.
It's true. And
No,
yes, you have to get his action figure for sure.
Cody Rhodes. It's Cody Rhodes. And goddamn.
I hope it's a Chase figure.
Did you hear
Fuego 2?
Did you hear Fuego 2's theme song?
No.
It was something Fuego 2. Oh.
Of course it was. It's trash. Trash
Sounds
goblins.
pretty original.
Is it sang by Oscar the Grouch?
It could
Trash.
be.
Hot
I don't know.
fucking garbage. Shut up, Asian
Man,
Joe.
put some respect on Fuego's name while wearing that shirt. Matt,
It's true.
stop being so angry, Matt.
Shut up. You too, Rate the Great. Fix your fucking screen.
I'm
You're
gonna-
dumb, Rate the Great. This dumb thing behind you. Now you're frozen.
Hey, let's not pick on the background. The background's
frozen.
pretty great.
First of all, he's not a fucking Yankees fan. He's posing. Now he's a poser. That fucking nasty Phillies hat on. He can't fix his dumb screen. If you don't know how to
What is
use
wrong with my screen? What is wrong with my screen?
It says Rate the Great, first of all. It said it all night.
Yeah, because it was Rate the Great tonight.
You're not Rate the Great.
She was
tonight.
here. She was here, and she left. But I want to honor her.
Okay.
Stop
What about
being
the
so
other
angry and sad?
45 minutes when it just said Kate?
Because I was making fun of Kate. I was imitating her. Why are you so sad and angry?
Who's sad? I'm
Who
saying,
hurt you?
Ring of Honor. hurt me.
Can I?
Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor hurt us all today.
Sinclair Broadcasting Company hurt me today.
Okay, that makes sense.
Two
What
big.
am I
Here's-
supposed to do with all these ROH pals now?
Dude, they're gonna be worth more. They're collector's
Yeah,
items.
they're collectibles.
Start a Fed. A Pillow Buddy Fed.
All I see is Danhausen.
I'm over there just hanging out on the couch.
My goodness. So guys, the other thing is that Matt, I'm not sure if you saw it. Kate, I'm not sure if you saw it. But on Saturday Night Dynamite, Lance Archer took a really nasty bump.
Oh, yeah,
He
almost
attempted
died,
a
huh?
moonsault and did not get enough rotation and landed pretty much on his forehead. It was pretty nasty. They kind of paused the match and made sure that he was okay. They kind of finished it out, but Lance did say that he is doing okay. He put out a tweet that said, "We choose to do this and take our health and lives in our hands every night. I've done that move hundreds of times over my career, just under rotated. Could have been much worse. Thank you all at AEW for taking amazing care of me and for protecting me. I'll be back." So it looks like he's going to be out for a little bit. He also thanked all the fans around the world and those who were in Orlando. So it looks like he's going to be out. I'm not sure if I've seen anything in particular about what he's dealing with. No official word on a diagnosis, but we'll see how long Lance is out, which kind of sucks because he was on a pretty good run of matches on the main shows with Suzuki and in this kind of tournament. So it kind of sucks that he's now going to be out with something going on with his neck and spine.
The only way Eddie Kingston was going to advance in the tournament, so you got what you got it now. We'll be happy.
God.
My
Matthew.
goodness. And folks, the last thing we have for tonight is I'm not sure
Look at how annoyed Ryan Schlong is. He's so annoyed.
No, I wasn't annoyed. It
He's
took me a
just
second
disappointed.
I was in shock. It took me a second to realize what you said. I was like, oh shit. Poor Matt and his heart. It's just
It's heartbroken.
You clearly don't know me.
No, this
You
is
think
Matt
you
on a
know
good
me.
day for sure. You think you know me, punk? On this day.
Oh my
she clearly.
Guys, the last thing we have to just bring up is because it hit on Twitter tonight around 9:30 is Bray Wyatt let us know 2 more days. He put a tweet out that simply said 2 more days. I guess it's Thursday now, October 28th. 90 days will have passed since the release. So we'll see. Friday, he is able to sign and or appear for any wrestling company that he wishes. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. A couple weeks ago or a week or so ago, I think TK was on Busted Open or something saying he hasn't talked to Wyndham, but he'd be willing to. I mean, we know how that stuff goes. I don't know. I could see him in AEW, but I could see him in Impact. But really, there's nowhere else I could see him, especially not Ring of Honor.
Well,
but
New Japan for sure, but just not an option right now.
It's AEW or bust. With all due respect to Impact, it's they do a good.
I'm with you there.
They do a good job. Their pay-per-view was great on Saturday night, but it's just kind of like it's back to our conversation about Ring of Honor. That's just, Kevin was thriving when he was live tweeting when they were putting the show on Twitch. Now he's got to pay $1 and it's on YouTube and it's like 45 minutes behind because there's no commercials on YouTube. So it's like, why? What are we doing here? So he's not going to go to fucking Impact.
Well, there are rumors that they're paying money out the ass possibly for
yeah, but like
for
they
Braun. So
they did that with Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy and Hulk Hogan, and people didn't know they were on fucking Impact, and that was when it was on like FS1 and what was that other channel? Spike. They were on Spike, weren't they?
Oh
Spike
yeah, or
or
TNA or
TNN,
something like
one of
that.
Yeah.
TNN, something weird like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing is with Impact, I think he'd have a bigger say in like creative for himself. Which I know he really likes because I think Impact could use a voice like his back there. Whereas he will have some say in creative in AEW because I think all wrestlers have a little input, but not nearly as much. So I'm wondering if that matters. It depends on how much money is motivating him, to be quite honest with you. If he really is all about money, then if AEW is offering it, it's AEW or bust.
Yeah, but
there's also like, does Tony Khan want him? Because there was a lot of conversation about him having attitude problems. So
now with ROH's news, that changes things too. Like unless the deal was already signed.
Is it here's the thing though, right? It's probably not a money thing for him because he probably made fucking more money in his 8 years in the WWE than he's gonna make anywhere else. It's probably about him being creative and being like Darby Avant-Garde fucking round 2.
But I think he could do more of that in Impact than he could at AEW.
Yeah, but it's just like, I'm really good at my guitar, but I'm going to play it in the backyard to the trees. Like, nobody's going to see it.
I guess, but I'm really thinking Kevin Owens is coming over. And there's a point where it's just getting crowded for guys that are going to be, I think Gargano could slide in nicely, but for guys that are going to be that big of a presence on the show, it is getting crowded.
You know what you kind of actually need?
Sorry, I was gonna say, with all due respect to Gargano, I don't need to see him in AEW. I'm not a huge fan. I just think they've got like 8 other guys like Gargano. They don't need Johnny Gargano.
But I mean, opinion. I don't think Johnny Gargano is gonna fill the same space as a Bray. but I think
No.
Kevin Owens is, right? So that's what I'm saying. I think you snatch up your Garganos to fill a different role and you bring in a Kevin Owens where like that top billing stuff is getting real crowded up there. So I skip Bray and go for Owens if I'm Tony Khan, but I'm not Tony Khan. And he just seems like he's gonna just keep making wrestling shows. I don't think
The
he cares.
the irony of it all is what they could really use right now is like an old school NWA of a bunch of companies taking AEW out of this, like a bunch of the smaller indie promotions and all, kind of almost I'd hate to say them collectively negotiating, but sharing contracts and stuff that allow wrestlers to get paid but move around a lot. Because right now, when you're trying to negotiate all these small places, everyone's taking on different costs, and I think it's killing them. But also, AEW introduces the trios titles, they should then bring you over Shane Taylor Promotions. Just saying.
They should do that anyway.
Well, yeah, but I'm just like, that is such a natural. ROH trios champs, 6-man champs, whatever, bring them over.
Can we just not pretend that ROH is dead yet?
No.
Please. It makes me sad. And also, on the flip, we're getting almost to that time where, you know, contracts might be running out for AEW too.
Yeah.
Cody and the Bucks aren't going to wrestle forever. Kenny Omega's not going to wrestle forever. Like, you know, it is not unrealistic to say like those four, Jericho, you know, they kind of take a step back.
Yeah, like they'll still be there, but they'll sign a different kind of contract where they're more part-time.
Right. And they're not on TV every week. Maybe they're more hands-on behind the scene. The company's up and running now. It's successful. It's doing well.
Yeah.
And Kenny's kind of openly said that his days are numbered. Like he wants to basically start to think about calling it a day. And who can blame him, right? I mean, he's been through a lot. He's put his body through a lot. He could still go, but I'm sure you get to the point where you're just like, man, this is getting tiring.
Also, we're used to WWE where if you sign there and that's all it is. Whereas in AEW, there's only actually like a handful of wrestlers who don't wrestle other places. So I think that has really helped them manage costs. Like you see Evil Uno, who's in your main event tonight, who's obviously a big player. He was wrestling your guest from Monday night, Dan Barry, like a month ago. They let their other guys go to indie shows, so that has to cut costs down, which if you're Tony Khan, then probably allows you to bring in some other guys because you're like, well, I have the money. I don't have everyone locked up into an exclusive deal.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it does shake out. I mean, there is still a length of time where, you know, there's a couple months before we get to Kevin Owens, right? His contract, I think, is up after the new year. I think it's January. Yeah. So he's not an immediate guy who's coming in. You know, who knows what's going on with Ring of Honor? They wouldn't be able to do anything unless somebody's immediately kind of wants out of their contract to work somewhere else, right? So it could be lining up right for Bray Wyatt to, you know, head over to AEW. I don't think it would be a bad thing. I'm just interested, Ryan, in you saying like, oh, I think he could have more creative say at Impact as compared to AEW, because it seems like they have, you know, some good creative control over it at AEW.
I feel like in AEW they have creative input. I feel like if he agreed to go to Impact, he would probably, as part of his contract, have a lot more of that. Like a lot more, and probably not just in his program, which is what I think he wants. I don't think AEW is going to give him that. I think Impact might in order to bring him over.
I could see that, like a more active say in actual booking and behind the scenes stuff in general. I completely would be on board for a company giving Bray Wyatt booking. I think he could do some really cool shit.
Yeah, but
sure, yeah. From a booking standpoint, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Matt.
No, it's okay. And then for me, at the end of the day, it's just, you know, how easy is it for me to access Impact? Like, it's a pain in the ass. Like, he can go there and it'll be great for like a week. Just like when Kenny Omega showed up there, people aren't going to fucking tune in.
Well, the problem is I hate to say it, the The dollar YouTube thing just doesn't make sense to me.
None of it
Just
makes
be-
sense.
Like, be on YouTube. Well, you can't be on YouTube for free, and I guess if you have a TV contract, because then there's something there probably. But like, if you're just on YouTube, you have a chance to grow that because you can say, hey, just tune it. I think a lot of reason these companies don't get consistent YouTube views is they don't put on regularly scheduled programming on YouTube. Like ROH just has a weekly show, but it's mostly highlights, and then it just throws random stuff on there. AEW, which is a much bigger company, much better following, it's consistent. Elevation Monday, Dark Tuesday. Like you have a schedule that really.
Ring of Honor has a schedule that week by week is every Tuesday, and it recaps what happened on
It's
the
a
last
recap,
TV
though.
show.
It's a recap, though.
And they give you a match. And then
Well,
Wednesday is the women's show, and that's all matches.
Well, they were just building that up, but everything else is just random match here or there. I just looked. It's not like full-length shows. They're like highlights here, random match here.
Your week by week is your highlight show, and then they feature one match every week. It's the same thing every
but
week.
if you're going to build a YouTube audience, I think you'd have to give a consistent show.
Right, but I don't know if they're necessarily looking to build a YouTube.
They weren't, because they had a TV deal. But
Right.
if you don't have a TV deal, if you lose it, you can do it. You just have to be more consistent. And charging people $1 on YouTube is actually not the way to do it, because people just get annoyed at that.
Right.
Like, if
I
you're
don't
on
see
YouTube,
why.
you're saying-
I don't understand what was wrong with Twitch TV for Impact.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
makes
Twitch was great for Impact.
That makes no sense
Like,
to me at
if
all.
I want to watch Ring of Honor, I just go to ROHWrestling.com, and it's even on fucking Fight. It's easy to find. If I want to watch Impact, I have the Impact Plus app, but they don't put the episodes up till like 4 days after they've been on the air.
Yeah, and you can't do that in today's wrestling cycle.
And like,
There's
I'm just not
6
super
programs.
invested. I'm not super into Impact, so I'm not going to wait like 4 days to watch.
Which is
show.
insane when you consider Jay White showed up. You know, and Kenny Omega was there. Like, how are you making it so difficult? I don't want to seek that out is pretty fucking wild.
Once they left Twitch, I never sought it again. It was just
And I think the
Which,
crossover stuff didn't turn out to be that great. So
Which was amazing for
But
them,
even-
because you had guys doing their own Twitch broadcast of the Impact show with the commercials and everything built in. It was ideal for them.
But even Kate, when the crossover stuff wasn't really deep, right? I would still turn it on to see what was happening.
sure.
Um,
And a lot of
you know,
people did. Their
and
ratings
when-
were significantly better when they were on Twitch. It's the
Yeah.
most perplexing move. I don't get it.
It's crazy. By the way, Mike Peterson's in the Discord saying we're going to have a lot of fun with the Rampage show on Friday. So it sounds like it's a good show. Tune in on Friday night. And he's in the Discord. Looks like he's going to start dumping some photos because he was at the show tonight in Boston. So if you want to join the Shining Wizards Discord, check out the Shining Wizards socials. Matt, where are the Shining Wizards socials found?
At Wizards Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch TV. YouTube is the Shining Wizards. But if you go to our Twitter, there's a link right for the Discord. Jump in there, join us. It's not as active as I would like it to be, but there's a lot of good activity in there. Some people, Kate, have not been in there in a very long time.
I suck. I'll get back in there. I was thinking about that the other day.
Too big for her britches. No, but it's great. Ryan's in there all the time. Ant's in there all the time. Liddy's great. Mike is great. Scotch is fantastic. There's tons of people in there. If I forgot you, I'm so sorry.
Milwaukee Tom.
It's a great community that we've managed to build and make friendships in. So come in. If you're not a dickhead, we'll accept you. If you're a dickhead, we will ban you for saying dumb shit like Eddie Guerrero is only good because he's dead. Thumbs down, bro.
You out?
Absolutely. And by the way, it's not just all wrestling. We have music channels. We have DDP yoga channels. We have a meme channel, a book club. There's all sorts of different shit that we talk about. So yes, while it is kind of the backbone is pretty much wrestling, everybody's into different shit that we always talk about: music, books, movies, memes, and then all the individual wrestling channels. So a lot of fun in that Discord, really cool community that the Wizards have built and that we're happy to be part of. Kate, what do you want to plug?
Every Tuesdays, I lose my mind after NXT with Alex Pulowski on Sour Grabs on Fightful. And every Friday, we do the AEW Rampage and SmackDown post show. Me and Sean Ross Sapp also at Fightful. That's about it for right now. I miss watching
Schlong,
wrestling.
what are you plugging? Oh,
the Caribbean.
sorry, Kate.
I was just going to say I miss watching wrestling with the Caribbean breeze going through my hair. But other than that, you can find me, and you can follow me at Kate on Deck IC. Ryan Schlong / Rate the Great / You Caught My Background.
You can follow me at Mark Order Pod because that's the only thing I use. I don't use my own. Like every night at the end of our podcast, for some reason my camera just starts to slow down.
It's tired.
Yeah, definitely check out Ryan Monday and Tuesday nights when he's live tweeting Dark Elevation and Dark at Mark Order Pod on Twitter. You can find at Mark Order Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. We're working on the Twitch. You can find us on the YouTube as well. All of these shows, since we started on the StreamYard, are there for you to view on YouTube if you'd like to go back and actually watch what we're doing. It's a lot of fun to watch. If you're listening in podcast form, we totally appreciate that as well. If you'd like to listen to the podcast version, subscribe on all major podcast forums. Like us, subscribe, review, rate, whatever you got to do. We appreciate all the love there. I'm going to throw out a little plug for myself. I'm actually gonna be on my date got moved, my bad. November 9th, I'm supposed to be on the Bammer Slammer podcast. They're doing a preview for AEW Full Gear, so I'll be on that. We'll remind you as we get a little closer. But we are here every Wednesday night. Oh, how could I forget? It's staring me right in the face. Stickers, don't forget. Get your stickers. Hit us up, slide into our DMs, leave us your name and address. We'll let you know that we're sending you out stickers. We'll send them anywhere worldwide. So just let us know where you need them.
And next week, we're all in bikinis. Right?
Oh,
Everybody
did not get the memo.
If you're listening in podcast form, we are all in bikinis. Perfect. We're all thirst trapping. Matt is getting wild right now. I feel like we're back at Camden Yards. Hi, Matt. Matt's got them hitters out. He's thirst trapping hard.
Why are we waiting till next week, people?
That's what. That's a really good point. Shame on me.
I gotta let the girls breathe.
I'm in my Shining Wizards t-shirt, but I'll figure something out.
Yeah, you just take it off, you wizard.
Oh,
Matt. Ethan Page says he's got the best tits in the biz, but I think Matt does.
Not even close.
There you go.
Like
tightest tits in the game, baby. Tightest tits in the game.
Not even close, Ethan Page, to what Matt is packing right now.
My
goodness.
He's
flexing for you all.
Someone told me the other day.
Matt's flexing.
Do you look like who?
Bert Kreischer.
I can see it.
The Machine? That's a good one.
I'm all about it. I think I'm just going to start doing the podcast without a shirt on.
But don't acknowledge it.
I mean,
just always show up shirtless and we won't even say anything.
I know. I'm going to start, and then as soon as maybe I'll do it next week with Paro. As soon as he comes on, I'll just take my shirt off.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And
watch
Kevin freak out.
Oh, Kevin will lose his mind. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah, he will.
Consummate professional Kevin Garifo will freak out.
There it is.
Well, we'll be back. I'm sorry, Matt. Were you going to say something?
No, I'm just ready. I'm queuing up the finish here.
All
right. Go home.
Well, we will be back next week, every Wednesday, 10:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back next week here on the Mark Order Podcast. Thank you for listening.
So long and good night.
And good night.
This concludes the Mark Order podcast. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Join the Mark Order.